Hello, 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 everybody. Hi. Hi. How are we all doing today? Hope we're all doing well. Oh my goodness. Hello, 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 everybody. Long time no see, right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hello, 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 everybody. Right, I'm going to turn this music off and let's get up in here and see if this works. Oh no, my transition. It's fine. Hi. Hi, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Oh, look, I have hands. Isn't this amazing? I have hands now. Yay. Oh my goodness. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much. We got a few secret supporters in the house. Damien Nichols, thank you so much for becoming a secret supporter. And Swirly Lexa, thank you so much for becoming a secret supporter and joining the membership on this channel. Wow. Hi. Hey, what's the for? Look, I've got hands. Hands, look. It's fine. I can use these to present my class now. Hi everybody. So welcome to my class today. What's wrong with my face? What do you mean what's wrong with my face? My face is fine. My face is fine. Look, there's a reason I barely use this model anymore. Everybody was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I like it, but a lot of people don't. So this is actually probably the last time you're going to see this model because I have some updates for the end of today's stream. But I'm not going to show them now because we have a class to get to, and we'll do the class, and then at the end I will show you a bunch of little updates, because there are some updates on stuff. Some of you haven't seen me in a long time. I mean, I haven't been around for a long time. So anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to an educational live stream. What? On this channel? It's more likely than you think. Oh man. Can you tell I just got up? Luckily I have water nearby because, man, I just got up and this is fine. Hey, Van Hendra, hey, Secret, should I get my pocket watch ready? You absolutely should. You can pocket watch along at home. Oh my goodness. Right, let me just sneak off into this corner here. If I block the screen, by the way, just let me know and I'll try not to. But, you know, this is part of the allure of this whole experience, is me flubbing around with my 3D model, just like I did at Charmed. Will saying that get me sued? I hope not. Anyway, right, so welcome to How to Make an Induction Out of Anything. So a little bit of a backstory on this class. I created and taught this class at Charmed this year. If you don't know what Charmed is a Hypnokink convention run out of Baltimore, and it's really fun. I love it, but I haven't been in person for a long time, so I have to settle for going online. And on the online track, I was like, what should I do? Should I turn up as myself? Yeah, I will. So I put this on. I got all the gear on and I did this. So this was like the first proper time I've taught a class using this particular model, and probably the last, to be honest, because I have a new one in the works. But anyway, so welcome to How to Make an Induction Out of Anything. So a little bit about this class before we start. It is aimed at people who are looking to hypnotize someone. However, I do think it's also quite useful for people who get hypnotized, because maybe you want to know what's going on inside your brain while you're being hypnotized. Maybe you are having trouble being hypnotized and you want to know a bit more about it. This is, I find this quite helpful for people on both sides of the pocket watch. But again, your mileage may vary. This is aimed at people who are looking to hypnotize other people. Just wanted to point that out there. Yeah. There is going to be a section on like a Hypno 101 in there. There's going to be a little bit of everything. It is aimed primarily at beginners, but you never know. Maybe somebody a bit more experienced might want to have a look and see if I do things the way that they do. There's no two ways of doing this stuff. So like, well, sorry, there's lots of ways of doing it. What am I saying? I'm tired. Can you tell? There's lots of ways of doing these things. So yeah. Oh my God. Thank you, Iris Amethyst Crown, for becoming a secret supporter. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. All right. Here we go. So who am I? That's a great question. Some of you might be wondering whether or not you came here from my hit tweet about how tummies are good actually, or whether or not you've been a subscriber for a long time. You still might not know who I am. But here I am. So I'm an ex-VTuber now. Oh, this is when I was legally not a VTuber. I should have changed this to legally now a VTuber, but only sometimes, because I only VTube here sometimes. Oh, Tane, hey! Oh my goodness, sorry. Love the 3D model. Well, don't get used to this one. This 3D model is being retired very soon. I should put this now legally. So imagine crossing this out. This now legally a VTuber, because I am legally a VTuber once more. Oh my god. So now legally. Oh god, go back. How do I go back? Oh no, hold on. Okay. Now legally a VTuber. So cross this bit out. Right. Content creator, Hypnokink certified hypnotist. I've been doing content now for a very long time. I started making hypnosis videos and hypnosis content primarily through live streaming since 2017. So do the math on that one. I think it's a long time. It feels like a long time. Yeah, part-time VTuber here, full-time VTuber elsewhere. Kind of. All right. I got certified in hypnosis in both 2019 and 2020. I liked it so much I did it twice. I actually did it through two companies. One is the ICBCH and one is the NGH. The NGH one came first. The NGH certification had some limitations on it, so I got it a second time, which was quite cool. Again, you don't need to be certified, but I personally felt better about being certified, so I got certified. And that is in hypnotherapy. I can almost do finger quotes. Hypnotherapy. But yeah. But I don't call it that because I use this for kinky shenanigans. I'm a mother of many cats. I have 3 cats and I love them all. They're very fluffy. ADHD is my superpower. So if I start to rant or go off in tangents, you can rein me in. You can pull me back in and be like, secret, your ADHD is going off again. But yeah, so I have ADHD. I'm sure you could probably already tell. I went to school for teaching. It's my passion to help others engage in the kinky shenanigans. I actually used to be a preschool teacher. Yeah, so that's fun. I'm good at talking in tangents and I'm really bad at PowerPoints. So just keep that in mind. Shibari Hypno, you could absolutely do Shibari Hypno. Right. So what are we doing here? Today we're going to talk about inductions. We will cover what are inductions, hypnotic inductions, what is hypnosis, because when you want to think about inductions, you kind of have to bring it back to what actually hypnosis is in the first place. Types of inductions, we'll cover a few different types of inductions, why they work and how they work. So we're going to get like into the nitty-gritty of like how things actually work. How to tailor them and make them for different hypnotees/subjects. Put both of them here because some people like hypnotees, some people like subjects. I think it's really important that we learn about how do you actually take an induction and make it specific for somebody. And you can also do then the reverse, right? You could then take an induction and then make it not as specific if you're like me and you want to make content out of it. And we're also going to write an induction for practice, okay? So we're going to do that together. We're going to just kind of come up with an induction on the fly. Normally I would write this down, but I think what we'll do is we'll just kind of see how we go. And then we'll have a Q&A section. I also might do a Q&A with Tumblr asks. So I will get my Tumblr up and maybe at the end and we'll see. Otherwise, if you have a question during this session, please just throw it in the chat. All right, before we start, this is obviously a slide for my charmed one. So we're gonna edit this for obviously the live stream. So if you're in the room and you need to leave, just don't be like, hey guys, I gotta go, bye, all over the chat. Don't do that. Maybe don't do that. Is this video gonna be made of? Yes, this video will be staying up. It will be staying up. People have asked. Yes, this video will remain on the channel. Until it becomes too old and I have to remove it and do it again. But yeah, this video will stay up. So yeah, so if you're in the chat, I know people love doing that. They love being like, bye, secret. Please don't. It's quite distracting, actually. And I need my brain to function properly today. All right. If I talk too fast, feel free to like put a hand emoji in the chat and just be like, hey, that was too quick. Slow down or whatever. But yeah, just feel free to throw it in the chat and just be like, hey, too fast, slow down. What do you mean? I don't know. I'm confused. Please explain again. But yeah, so this class is aimed at beginners and people with some experience on either side of the watch, even though we're talking about things from a hypnotist perspective. Okay? Also, when this stream is over, I am going to timestamp it. And if you are watching this in post, hi VOD Squad, if you're watching this after the stream has finished, feel free to add your own timestamps in the comments below. So if you're like, hey, actually, your timestamps are terrible and I've got better ones, feel free to add your own. I welcome that here. Right. So let's begin. Oh my God, why am I nervous? I haven't taught I haven't taught a hypnosis class in a long time. So this is going to be like, I don't know, learning to ride a bike again, but live on stream. Right, here we go. Oh my God. Hold on. Is someone roasting me? I think this is the 6th Hypnokink 101 presentation secret I've watched. I think you're just like teaching people things. I do. I really do. Plus also, I do a lot of 101s because I like helping the new people out. And also I find that 101s, even if you are like the most experienced hypnotist in the world, you should always like occasionally go to a 101 because you will find something that is very helpful. Yeah, we should stay on topic. Yeah, you should try and stay on topic if you can. If you can. We'll see how that goes. Right. So what is an induction? Simply put, an induction is a way to put someone in a hypnotic state. Yeah, so if you want to put someone in a hypnoidal state, you'd whip out your induction. Hey, Porcus, thank you so much for the super chat. Love your content. Good luck with the stream. Thank you so much. So yeah, it's basically just putting someone in hypnosis. Now, a lot of us already know this, but a question people starting out, even those who know about hypnosis, is, but how does this work? A little backstory. I, myself, for years, literally years, spent a lot of time asking people this question. So we know about hypnosis, right? We know about inductions. And most of us learn how to do an induction from somebody else doing an induction on us, or around us, or in front of us, or teaching us how to do an induction. Using a lot of finger quotes today, how to do an induction. But a lot of the time when you say, but how did that work? People don't backtrack. I will tell you one of the best experiences I ever had. I was at, I think, a hypno convention. I think it was in 2018. Me and my wife were there, and I met Wise Guy. And Wise Guy is, I will say, one of the best hypnosis teachers. If you can ever go to a Wise Guy class, please do. His book, Mind Play, very good. Please read. He's like, hey, Secret, come up to the room. I'd love to chat to you. And I was like, yeah, cool. So I got to meet Wise Guy, and we go to Wise Guy's room, and he's like, hey, I'd love to tell you a bit about this induction, and like how. And like, as he was doing this induction, he did it on my wife, and he was like, so how did that work? So how did that work? So what's happening here? What can you see? And I was like mind blown, because this is the first time anyone had been like, hey, let's break it down. Let's actually explain as we're going through exactly what is happening to your wife. And I was like, yeah. So it was really interesting. And it was actually the first time I was like, wow, actually, I think that more people should be teaching this in their 101, because I feel like a lot of the time people are like, here's how to do the induction. Here are the magic words. Yeah, he's really good. He's really good at teaching. And like, yeah, so it's like a whole thing of like, people teach you like, these are the words to say to do the induction, but they don't actually think about like, well, but what actually is happening. And I find that when you actually know what is going on, it's a lot easier to hypnotize people. All right. So that's exactly what this class is going to be preaching today. So to get how to induce trance, first we have to look at what hypnosis is. I'm in the way. Oh God. I'm moving my whole stream now. Hold on. I'm in the way. What hypnosis is. There we go. See, that's exactly what it says. Right. Let's go. Right, Hypnosis 101, and I will move out the way, I promise. Maybe I should shrink this. Hold on, let me shrink this PowerPoint. Oh, look, I'm so advanced in technology. Look at that. I can shrink a PowerPoint on a dime. Oh, God. Okay, there we go. Right, that's a little bit better, I think. A little bit better, a little bit worse. Right, so what is hypnosis? This is something a lot of researchers cannot actually agree on. All right, but what they can agree on is a hypnotic state trance is made up of 3 key things. Say it with me. It's like my mantra right now. Absorption, dissociation, and suggestibility. Oh, I wanted to do a fun finger thing, but apparently it only works on this hand. All right. So what do these even mean? So absorption, you're having someone focused and fixated on a thing. Okay, that is when, like, imagine when you're giving something your full attention and you're really, really, really focused. Absorption is like focused, but like very focused. Dissociation, a lot of us have dissociated in our lives. I do it all the time. That's one of those moments where you literally feel like you're leaving your body, or maybe you're dissociated from the room. Maybe you just can't like hear or like look at anything else in the room. You're just focused so much on this one thing. Some people have like a time dilation dissociation. There's like different levels of dissociation. So dissociation is not always like the whole like, oh God, I'm in a panic state, so now I'm dissociated real hard. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I didn't even realize it had been 20 minutes and it actually has, you know? Mm-hmm. And suggestibility is one that really hangs people up. I think people get really hung up on suggestibility because what it means is basically if I say something, oh no, if I say something, you're more likely to go along with it. Okay? Now, a lot of people think it's stuff like when you're like doing a hypnosis induction on someone and you're like, yes, and now you're under my control and you'll do everything I say, but that's not true actually. It's just a feeling of like, hey, you could resist what I'm saying, but you're more likely not to because you're following along with what I'm saying. Does that make sense? Yeah. There we go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I also put here, yes, relaxation is not on this list. Now, a lot of people get really hung up on this, right? They always say to me, Secret, your hypnosis, it should be relaxing. I don't think so. Especially when you're doing Hypnokink, I find a lot of people like, yeah, but relaxing. No, you don't actually need to be relaxed to be hypnotized. Some people are like, yeah, but it needs to be real. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't need to be relaxing at all. And in fact, when you're doing it for Hypnokink purposes, sometimes it's better not to be relaxing. Because if you get someone too relaxed and you're trying to do kinky shenanigans on them, it can just end just very, yeah. You might have them too relaxed and then all of a sudden you can't play. So there we go. So, yeah, relaxation, not on this list. While hypnosis can be relaxing, it doesn't have to be. Personally, I think this thing that gets a lot of people hung up. Yeah. So there we go. Yeah. Okay. So why is this knowledge important? Chat? Chat, why is this knowledge important? Why is this knowledge important to you, chat? That's a good question. And in the comments below, if you're watching this in post, comment below why is it really important to know a basic basis of hypnosis before you start playing around? Because I think this is incredibly important. I know a lot of people are like, the less I know, the better. No. You shouldn't. Educate. Education's important. Yeah. So, for me, when you know how hypnosis works, you can start to pick apart the things that work and the things that don't for some people when entering a hypnotic state. However, we still need to factor in previous experience, how someone's brain works, their interests, desires, and turn-ons. It doesn't have to be sexual, but it could be. Safety, yeah. How they respond to certain commands and suggestions, yeah. Safety is a big one. You're right. Absolutely. I think the education, knowledge is power. Yeah, exactly. Knowledge is power. Plus, also, when we're playing with Hypnokink, I think the more you know about it, the better, really. And it doesn't really matter where the education is coming from, because there are people who, like me, are qualified and certified in this kind of stuff, right? But that doesn't matter. Like, you can be someone who is not qualified, but you've gone to classes, you've read books, and you've educated yourself. You've gathered the information that you can. You've gone to classes like this, and you're like, cool. And now I know how this works, so I can take this knowledge and I can apply it to what I'm doing. Yeah. I remember I did a stream a few months ago, and somebody was like, hey, my hypnotist doesn't want me to know how hypnosis works, because apparently the more I know about hypnosis, the worse I'll be at being hypnotized. That's actually absolutely not correct at all. Yeah, if it works, the better if you know. I agree. So I completely disagree with the idea that if you know more, your chances will be worse. I actually think if you are somebody being hypnotized, the more you know about hypnosis, the better you'll be at being hypnotized. I actually, a few months ago, did a session with a friend where I got hypnotized. I know, wild, right? Me, dommiest dommy mommy who ever lived, got hypnotized. And you know what? I was really fucking good at it. And do you know why? Because I know a lot about this shit. I know how this works. So yeah, so it's just, I feel like the more you know, the better it's going to be, and the better you'll be at it on either side of the pocket watch. So yeah. So I just want to like squash that fallacy. If anyone is telling you, by the way, that the more you know, the worse you'll be at hypnosis, I would like side-eye them immediately. And that's just me. Maybe they're a great person. Maybe they just don't know. Maybe they're just a little misguided, but that is kind of sus. A little tiny, teeny tiny bit sussy for me. So yeah, right. Okay, a very brief talk about modalities. So what the heck is a modality? All right, you might have heard about these things called modalities. These are ways in which people perceive the world, and some have favored ones. Oh my god, my voice. Why is it doing this? Hold up. This is why I'm going to speech therapy soon. Okay, so this can be broken into groups. We have visual, we have kinesthetic, we have auditory and auditory digital, which is our analytical thinkers. So what do these mean? So modalities are basically like, if I ask you to close your eyes and imagine a car, your car, right? And I said to you, describe to me, actually chat, describe to me a car. It doesn't have to be your exact car, but describe to me a car that you can think of right now. Maybe it's your car, maybe it's your mom's car. Don't give me any too many details that are gonna make people find you. But like in vague terms, describe your car. Yeah. And then we'll see what happens in the chat. All right, while we're doing that, I'll talk about these. So visual modality is people who focus on the visuals of stuff. So maybe you're a visual learner. Maybe, don't start with your license plate. No, stop that. It has 4 wheels. Okay, there we go. It has 4 wheels. So we might have an auditory digital in the chat. It's 4 wheels. It drives you places and has wheels. Okay, so here's the thing, right? I do not want the license plate, no. Any license plates will get immediately people banned. All right, somebody said an orange scion. Okay, so the first thing you said was orange, right? So you might be, and I say might be because I can't exactly tell, but if you said a color first, you might be a visual learner. So you might be a person who focuses on the visuals of stuff. Which means for you, it might be easier to do visualization stuff where I go, imagine a beach. Yeah, but I can't imagine things visually. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Kinesthetic, if you're like, hey, it's actually like, it's smooth and it's cold and it's got slightly door, I don't know. Kinesthetic is the touch people. Maybe if you're like, I love the leather seats, and the feeling of the leather seat beneath my hand, then you might be a kinesthetic person. You like touch stuff. And Ashton Martin, nice. If you're an auditory person, you might say, I like the sound of the honking horn, or my car has a really loud stereo. And you're like, oh, yeah, cool. So for you, you're focusing on the sound of everything. And then auditory digital are our analytical thinkers, the people who be like, hey, it has 4 wheels and it goes, and you have aphantasia. Now, this is interesting. A lot of people have been saying like they have aphantasia. Now, the aphantasia thing, I'm really curious about. I'm not trying to be like I'm curious about the aphantasia thing. I really am. And eventually maybe I'll look into it in terms of like, yeah, there's a lot of people with aphantasia lately. I keep seeing it in the comments. People being like, I've got aphantasia. I mean, to be fair, I probably have it too. I can't imagine things in my brain, but I can imagine things in my brain in a way of like concepts, not as like I see it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's an interesting topic, aphantasia. So yeah, so modalities are not necessary to factor into hypnosis play. However, you should aim for a range of descriptors in your inductions. I think that's where I find modalities are most useful, because I feel like a lot of people will see this and then go like, right, I need to make sure I'm covering the specific modality the person is. I don't think that's right, because modalities are highly debated, and we're not quite sure if modalities actually factor in or not. But what it does teach us is that you should always aim for a range of descriptions in your inductions, because the more of these kind of topics you cover, like the visual, the kinesthetic, the auditory, the more likely somebody is going to find something in there that they respond to. It's like doing the kitchen sink approach, right? You're going to tap every single one of these, you know? And sometimes when I'm writing an induction, I'll think about these kind of things. I'll think about ways that the analytical people can like jump in, ways that don't require any of these modalities. And then I'll think about the visual, the kinesthetic, the auditory. So there's at least something in there that people can respond to. Because if you focus on just one of these all the time, for example, if you're doing a visualization induction and you just talk about the visual language of everything, you're going to get a bunch of comments saying, hey, I have aphantasia, this didn't work on me. I know that from experience. But yeah, if you know your hypnosis subject has a favored one, you can lean into it if you choose to. But I would honestly say, kitchen sink it. Use a various range of descriptions. If you're going to talk about visual language, talk about kinesthetic language, talk about auditory language. Get them to focus on sounds and touch and visuals, and also lots and lots of things for those analytical people. The thinky brainy people. Oh dear. All right. So, what type of inductions are there? All right, we're into the Inductions 101. So you might have heard people discuss types of inductions. And if you have any more that aren't on this list, please throw them in the chat right now or in the comments below. How many inductions do we know collectively? I'm curious. Okay, so we have, these are some of the types of inductions you may have heard people bring up. You might have experienced these. You might be using them yourself. So the first one is a fixation induction. So this could be an auditory fixation, so you're fixating someone on a sound. Visual, you're fixating people on either an imagined visual in their mind or an actual physical thing that they're looking at, like a pocket watch, a pendant, a metronome, kinesthetic is you focus on touch, so maybe you grab their hand and you gently like make a little. This is technology at work here, everyone. You take their hand and you make a little circle. Oh, I'm doing it. Oh my God, I'm doing it. And you make a little circle on the back of their hand, or you like pat their hand or whatever, or you have them make a motion like maybe you're doing this, squeezing and releasing. That's a physical kinesthetic fixation right there. Then we have confusion and overload. So confusion and overload inductions are based around the fight or flight method. Basically putting someone in a state of fight or flight, you're overwhelming their brain, you're confusing them to the point that they are going to naturally dissociate, and at that point you start throwing commands in there. You might have heard of the 7 plus or minus 2 induction. You might have heard about, what are other ones? The 0 induction, where you think about 0 and then you multiply 0 by 0, but you don't divide it because apparently that's wrong. I'm bad at math, can you tell? There's also body confusion, which I fucking hate. I hate it. You might love it. I fucking hate it. One day I'll probably do it. It's where what you do is you get them to... Okay, so it's a progressive muscle relaxation where you go through parts of the body and you have people focus on different parts of the body. But instead of doing it normally, you do it so you start on this side. Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to flip off the chat. You start on Oh God. Okay, don't do that. You start on one side of the body and you move to the other. So like you'll say, and now relaxing the toppy tip of your left shoulder, and now the bottom right pinky toe nail. And you do that over and over and over again, crossing the body, like being very specific about the different parts that are getting relaxed or whatever you're trying to do. It's awful. I don't like it. I personally am not a fan, but you might be. Maybe you're really into body stuff and you're like, yeah, cool. Progressive muscle relaxation or relaxation-based inductions. These are the ones that you'll see in like meditations. This is the you're on a beach. This is the relaxing every part of your body from the top of your head to the tips of your toes or vice versa. This is the relax everything until it's super, super, super relaxed. Great for like relaxing people. Again, if that's what you're into. Oh no, yeah, exactly. All right, fractionation. So is confusion like fractionation? You can combine fractionation and confusion. Yeah, but you don't have to. So fractionation, for people who are uninitiated, I have an entire short about this. Go check it out on the channel. But fractionation, basically in a nutshell, is you are putting people between two different states by getting them to go between them quite rapidly. So for example, in trance versus out of trance. So maybe you'll start with like, all right, your eyes are closed, and when your eyes are closed, you're relaxed. Versus when your eyes are open, you're staring at a spot, you're focusing, you're fixating, and you're not relaxed. So you're putting people between these two states, and the quicker that you go between these two states, the more someone's brain is basically like being trained to go between those places very quickly. Very useful for new people. It's kind of like a catch-all approach. Fractionation usually gets most people. I say most because there's never a one-size-fits-all, but most people, fractionation is good. It's also great because it's like self-training, right? You're training someone to do something while also conditioning that. Yeah. So it's like an induction and a training module at the same time. And you can blend all of these together, by the way, and you should. Then we have rapid inductions. So, oh my God, I've lost an arm. Okay, my hand is here. Cool. So rapid inductions, those are inductions that go very fast, very quick. They're usually quite stagey. And when I say stagey, I mean you see them a lot at like stage hypnotist shows. They're the arm pull induction, the very, very, very quick, like shaky. They usually rely a lot on shock factor. And somebody mentioned pattern interrupts earlier. A lot of rapid inductions cover a lot of pattern interrupts. So what a pattern interrupt is basically where, say you've got a person that's standing right in front of you, and right now you're like, okay, hey, how you doing? And they're like, yeah, I'm good. You're like, oh, you're good? You're like, yeah. Tell me about your day. They'll tell you about their day, and in the middle, you grab their shoulders, you shake them, and you go, and sleep. That's a pattern interrupt. They're so focused on telling you about their day that when you shake their shoulders and go, and sleep, their brain goes, what is going on? Now, sometimes this works and sometimes this doesn't. This is why when you go to a stage hypnosis show, they do a bunch of testing first to see who's the most responsive people, or the most likely to go along with it people, or the most exhibition-y people, because they want to know that you are going to go along with it when they do that, because it's a very risky maneuver. It's great with people you've known for a long time. It's great with people if you've got tons of triggers in them and you can quickly snap them in and out of places and you know that. But for new people who've never done hypnosis before, I don't often recommend rapids, just because they can be quite risky. Yeah, they are very fun. But I would say they're very fun, but like not for like, I personally wouldn't be using them with beginners. And hey, it's not about how good you are at hypnosis, because even I have years of experience of hypnosis. I think I've done maybe like a handful of these, but only for classes and only with people I know. Like I've only done them with my wife, which she's extremely easy. So like if that makes me feel a lot more confident about myself because she's real easy. All right. So there's that. And then there's the Dave Elman induction. So the Dave Elman I have to Google this one. Oh, Lord. Right. So the Dave Elman induction. Hold on. I have to get this right because otherwise somebody in the comments will roast me for it. Because there's actually a set method to this. So what are the steps? I know the first one is the pre-talk. Right, okay, so the Dave Ellman induction is an induction that was created by, whoa, Dave Ellman. Who knew? And Dave Ellman is a hypnotherapist who basically was creating inductions for doctors to use in clinics. So you probably don't know this, but this is a little hypnohistory moment. Da, 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 da. But basically, back in the day, doctors would actually use, or were planning to use, hypnosis instead of things like anesthetic and like ether. Ether was incredibly dangerous for operations and surgeries, and this particular one was created to be used in dental clinics to help patients be relaxed and ready for surgery without any anesthetic. I know, it sounds crazy when you say it out loud, but this is how things could have been. We could be in a history right now where everyone's getting hypnotized all the time instead of having like anesthetic, but they decided that anesthetic was more reliable and easier because it didn't require people to learn stuff. But that's how the Dave Ellman induction came to be. So this is an induction that is usually used in quite a forceful manner and a forceful tone because, again, it was created by a guy who wanted to use it for dentistry. So he wanted to teach them like a hard and fast approach. So it has lots of different steps, and you can Google these. So these are all Googleable. And I recommend you do give it a Google and have a look because it actually is like a kitchen sink approach. So the first thing is, like all hypnotic inductions, Dave Ellman is made much easier by quality pre-talk. So you do start by setting up the scene for the hypnosis. Obviously, you do your consent. Luckily, because you're doing consent anyway, you can then turn that into your pre-talk, and it's very fun. Then you start with doing the I catalepsy section. Before this, you can do a yes set. Some versions of the induction have a yes set, some don't. So what a yes set is you basically ask somebody 3 questions you know they're going to say yes to. It gets them in an agreeable state of mind to say yes, basically. So you'll say like, are you excited to be hypnotized today? Yes. Are you ready to be hypnotized today? Yes. Are you ready to go into trance right now? Yes. Okay, great. You've already got the affirmation 3 times. Don't do more than 3. It gets really tired really fast, but 3 is kind of like the magic number. Then you do the I catalepsy, which basically means you get them to close their eyes and you ask them to relax their eyes until their eyes are so relaxed they either don't want to or cannot open them. The wording of this part is extremely important because if you are like, hey, you're going to relax your eyes until you cannot you cannot open them, but you know the person you're working with is not very good at catalepsy, which is when you like, hey, this body part is unmovable, it's too stiff, or blah, 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 then you may just want to use the language of like, until you don't want to open them because you're so relaxed, it's just nicer to keep them closed. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, somebody said don't use hypnosis for anesthesia because that is therapy. Yes, that is therapy. But we're not using this in a therapeutic approach, right? You can actually use hypnosis to help you with procedures and stuff. But again, a lot of that comes under like therapeutic tools. This is used for kinky shenanigans. We are co-opting this one because it's an induction. We can use it for whatever, right? The induction doesn't make it therapeutic or not. The induction process doesn't really, unless you are in your induction actually stating that this is a therapeutic thing. Right. So once you've got their eyes closed until they can't or won't or don't want to open them anymore, you go into the body relaxation section. So you get the relaxation they feel in their eyelids to move down their entire body, all the while using dissociative language to really dissociate them. Then you fractionate them. So you get them to open their eyes and close their eyes and open their eyes and close their eyes, and every time going deeper and deeper into trance. Then, when you are satisfied with all of that, you grab their arm. Okay, I need to see this. Hold on. You grab their, I'll see if I can do this. You grab their arm. Okay, I can't do it, but you can imagine. You grab their arm, you shake it, and you tell them to relax this arm completely. Relax it until it's super, super relaxed, and you will feel the weight of their arm. This is why this one's not very good for online. So that you get them to shake it until it's really loose and limp, and then you drop it down. Okay, so you shake the arm until you can feel all of their weight on you, and then you drop it down. And then you do the same with the other arm if you want to. You can only do one, or you can do both. It doesn't really matter. To me, anyway. I've done this only twice. Oh, dear. And that is to, like, prove to them that they are so relaxed, super duper relaxed, and then you drop the arm. Then you do an amnesia portion where you basically suggest that they will count backwards from 100 until the numbers disappear from their mind. Now, you can do this as an amnesia command, or you can do this as you just can't be bothered counting anymore. You could do this with numbers, you could do this with letters, you can do this however you want. You could do this with the blackboard method of, like, the numbers are there and then you rub one out, and then your number is there and then you rub it out, and every time you just lose one. Oh no, they've just disappeared. Where have they gone? Oh God. So there's, like, different ways you can do the amnesia portion. The amnesia portion also gets a lot of people hung up, which is why if you know you're working with someone who is not very good at amnesia or not very well practiced in amnesia yet, because again, you can learn to be better at these skills, okay? But a lot of people get hung up on, but it says on the instructions it needs to be amnesia, and the person I worked with was like, oh no, I can't do that, and then they woke up. To avoid that, you can then use language of, like, and the numbers just disappear from your mind. Maybe they're just floating around in there until you don't want to count them anymore because they're just floating around. It's just so much more comfortable to have them just float around there, and you just don't want to count anymore. So you can say, and the numbers disappear from your mind and you forget about the numbers, but you can also then throw in some, like, and you just don't want to because it's just so much better just to relax and blah, blah, blah instead. Give them options. The more options you give someone, the better usually, because you will get a response. It just might not be the response that you're expecting. Yeah, Wise Guy taught my class to swap around. You can do that? Yeah, so I was going to say, you can actually do these in different orders. The fixation, no, sorry, I'm looking at that list. Why am I looking at that list when I say these words? Hold on. There are different ways to do this. So this one I found here, it starts with the eye closure and then the fractionation later, but you can actually start with the fractionation and then go back to the eye catalepsy or whatever. So even though there are obviously set steps, there are, like, 3 different ways of doing this. So there's lots and lots of variety here, but you always end with the amnesia and you always end with the deepening and giving suggestions, because I think the theory behind this was these are the stages of hypnosis. So you're working someone through the stages of hypnosis. I'm using a lot of air quotes today because there's no such thing as a depth scale and stages of hypnosis. There just isn't. It just isn't true. So, yeah. But back in the day, a lot of people believed that there was like a depth scale. If you ever want to have a good laugh as a hypnokinkster, you should go and Google the hypnotic depth scale, and trust me, it's fucking hilarious. And a lot of you will say, I could only get to level 1. I've been doing hypnosis since 2011, right? I was getting hypnotized in 2011, okay? It has been over, 13 years-ish, right? 13 years, and I would get to stage 3 out of 8. I would only make it to 3, but I have skills past 3. But 3 is where I would stop. 3, they'd be like, well, she can't visualize a ball. No, I can't visualize a ball, but can I do amnesia? Yes, I can. Can I do body catalepsy? Yes, I can. I can do a lot of other stuff, just not the visualizing of the ball. Damn it. Don't make me visualize a ball. Yeah, well, and this is the thing, depth is such a controversial topic, because it's like, people are like, oh yeah, there's a depth scale. No, there's no depth scales. Yeah, my wife, everyone in the chat, Celia, apparently cannot be hypnotized according to most scales. However, I've seen her hypnotized. She goes there. So, yeah. Yep. Anyway, so these are some types of inductions. You probably know more. Somebody said, where does the pocket watch fit in? The pocket watch fits into fixation. It is a visual fixation induction. You are holding a pocket watch. You're getting them to focus on an object. It's a visual fixation. Again, all of this language, you don't need to know, but it's always good to know, because if you can go to someone and go, hey, I'm actually going to do a visual fixation, and then explain it to them, not only are you then educating someone else on what is actually happening with hypnosis, which is amazing. And if you do that, go you. You deserve a high five. I will come and high five you at the next event I'm at. But also, it makes sure that people are understanding what is actually going on, and it passes the knowledge on to people. Because when I was first, and this is just like a little anecdote aside, when I was first being hypnotized on the internet back in 2011, no one was telling me shit. No one was telling me any of this stuff, and I honestly wish that more hypnotists would actually explain this to people as part of the pre-talk. And I think now we're definitely in more of a culture where the education is being spread through a lot of the hypnotists who are going out there and playing with people, and the switches too, who are going out there and playing with people and explaining themselves. But I think it's really important. So sure, you don't need to know this language, but I personally think it's quite important to have a basic knowledge of the language around it, so you can pass that on to people, and I think that's good. More education to me is always good. So this is going through everything. I forgot that I had these slides. Oh wait, is there one on in the Elman? Oh, there is, isn't there? You know what? I'm gonna put this PowerPoint in the description so you can read this in your own time. God damn it! Look at me doing all this hard work, and then yeah. So there we go. There's a bunch of stuff in here. And it has little notes at the bottom. There you go. Oh my god, I told you I'm bad at PowerPoints. Damn it. All right. Well, I'll put this in the description below. All right. So now we've gone through all of that. Now what? Okay, now like the chaotic gremlin I am, because I am a little bit chaotic. I'm a little bit of a gremlin sometimes. We throw all of this information into a big pot, big old pot, and we use it to make more creative inductions. Because while it's important to understand what inductions have typically been used on people in the past, language, modalities, etc., the important thing we need to go back to is, why does this all work? It works because it contains the three parts of a hypnotic state: absorption, dissociation, and suggestion. So let's go back and talk about why. Okay, back to Hypnosis 101. Oh, wait, hold on. No. Wait, why am I doing that? Hold on. So now we can go back and talk about why this all works. Right. So I'll just go through all of these real quick. Okay. So in the fixation inductions, and this is where things become really interesting. So we have, remember, absorption, dissociation, suggestibility. So we're looking for those three key things. In the fixation induction, absorption is already built in. The reason why absorption is already built in is because you're already getting them to focus and fixate on a thing. So already you're getting someone focused and fixated on something. Okay? Yes, secret pulling a pattern. I am. Yes. So there we go. So you're already getting them to focus on the thing. Focus so intently on the spiral, on the pocket watch, on the metronome, on the imagination of a beach in your brain. All right? So there's that, okay? So it's easy to blend with other styles of induction too. Okay, yeah, don't worry. See, this is going to make it easy. So already we have our absorption. Dissociation, we're going to use dissociative language, okay? Somebody asked, can you give an example of dissociative language? Absolutely. So dissociative language is anything used to have someone dissociated from themselves, from time, from space, from whatever. The easiest way to do this, okay? And this is a very helpful trick. You can write this down, and you should. Instead of saying a person's pronouns or their name, say if I'm hypnotizing my wife and I would say, and Celia, you're feeling so relaxed. Your eyes are feeling so relaxed, Celia. I'll say, those eyes are feeling so relaxed, aren't they? You see the difference there? I'm taking ownership away from my wife's eyes. It sounds creepy, but because you're removing the ownership, those eyes, that hand, those feet, whatever you want to feel, that personality. I don't know. I don't know if ego death's your thing, but like maybe, I don't know. Whatever you want to do, so you're dissociating them that way. You can also suggest, obviously, the feeling of like things fading away into the background. Oh, you don't need to focus on that. You're too busy focusing on this. And giving them an option to have, this is what's important. That is not important. is also a good way of doing this. So like, for example, and you're listening to the sound of my voice. No, you don't need big dom energy, actually. You can be a submissive who is doing all of this stuff, by the way. It can happen. I've seen it happen. It can happen. So will you remove your mind from your body? Exactly. You can do that. You can do all kinds of stuff. So you could be like, and you're just focusing so intently on this because this is so important right now. These words, this moment, that pocket watch, that spiral, so much more important, isn't it? Yes, it is. And you're really honing in on that feeling of like, this is what's important right now. Thus, everything else is less important. You know what I mean? So that's a good way to kind of throw the dissociation in there. Dissociative language, very important. So, suggestibility. Well, the suggestibility is built in. Suggestibility is built into to this because you're already getting them to follow the pattern and process of what you're doing. So, for example, you're like, hey, look at this pocket watch. You can notice how your eyes get naturally tired when looking at this pocket watch. You can also cheat when you're using a visual fixation. And here's how. You put it slightly out of their eye view, okay? Just slightly. So, yeah, subs can do this. Just be confident. Exactly. You could be a very submissive person and you can still do hypnosis. Remember, hypnosis is not a dominant act. Can we just say that louder for the people in the back? Hypnosis is not exclusively a dominant act. You do not have to be dominant to do hypnosis. And we'll talk about that a bit more later, okay? You do not have to be dommy to do hypnosis. It's not a dominant act, okay? Hypnosis doesn't have to come from a domineering perspective, okay? Hypnosis is a neutral force, and you can use it for dommy purposes or not. A submissive might want to hypnotize their dom because maybe their dom's had a hard day and they're like, oh, I want you to feel good. It's an act of service. There you go. You're welcome, subs. As someone who is/was a switch, I feel you. I feel you, subs out there. I was one of you one time. Just because I am no longer doesn't mean I haven't experienced the service topic. Yeah, exactly. You can do that. It's fun. But again, it doesn't have to be a dominant act. You're just doing hypnosis. And hypnosis is a neutral power here. Anyway, so I was gonna say, so with your pocket watch, you're gonna hold it slightly out of someone's view. So, for example, instead of holding it like right in front of their face, you're gonna hold it just slightly above their head. Okay, just slightly above. So they have to do this. I know my model's doing it. So they have to look up. And what you do is you tell them not to move their head. Especially if you're a dommy dom, you can actually grab their head and just be like, no, your head's not gonna move, but your eyes will. Because then you're also you're making them feel subby, and once you've got them feeling subby, I mean that's half the battle, right? if you're doing this as a dominant act, remember you don't have to, but if you are, so there we go. So yeah, so instead of holding it right in front, because a lot of people do that, they'll hold it like down or right in front of their face. Don't hold it slightly up so they have to look up. Now I want everybody right now, just everybody right now, if you can, look at the screen. Right, or look right in front of you, like look straight ahead. Okay, now everybody, we're gonna look slightly up. Ready? Okay, just look slightly up and see how long you can hold that for. I guarantee it's not super long. Even now, my eyes are getting real tired from doing this. And if you imagine like suggesting to someone that they feel tired while also doing this, okay, don't hurt yourself, by the way. But when you see someone's eyes struggling like that, you then suggest that you did that. And maybe you did, maybe you didn't, who knows? But you're doing that thing. You're doing that thing. You're doing that thing. Why do people talk about straightness in the chat? Do you not know I'm hella gay? This is extremely gay. Oh my god. So yeah, is in line with the person's forehead enough? Yeah. So you don't want anyone to super duper struggle. But if you've ever heard an induction where they're like, now I want you to lift your eyes up slightly above your line of sight. That's what they're doing. And they're going to take full credit for stuff that naturally happens with people's bodies. Our eyes naturally get tired when we do this. You can take full credit for that. And you should. Half of our work is taking credit for things that we didn't do. Like that. Yeah, this is one of the times I'm like, yeah, do that. Yeah. Yeah, so there we go. So that's it. That's a little tip. I didn't mean to say, oh my god. I know. I'm not a lesbian. No, I'm bisexual. Get it right. I'm an equal opportunity person. I like everyone. All right, I like everybody. So there we go. Yeah. So there we go. Look forward then. I know it's I'm just teasing. All right. I'm just teasing. Oh God. All right. So that's how that one works. If you have any questions, we can talk about them more in depth at the end, maybe. Right. Confusion overload. So how does confusion overloads work, right? Well, absorption again, super simple. They are focused intently on what you're trying to do, especially with confusion overloads. The big part about this is there's a lot of well, people have to focus when you're confusing them, right? Because the more you're saying all of this nonsense, right? The more you're getting people to focus on the nonsense that you're spouting, the more people are like, oh my God, I have to focus even more. Especially people like me. I have ADHD, right? So I need like a serious pounding over the head with a hypno hammer. That's a bad way of putting it, but it makes sense in my brain. So the second somebody starts to get real confusy about stuff, I'm like, wait, what? Oh no. Because already my brain moves very fast. So the faster that you move, I'm like, oh shit, now I've got to keep up with you. And I'm already trying to keep up with myself. Oh fuck. And then that's it. You got them in terms of the focus on it, because you're like, okay, wow. Especially I find, for me personally, and this might not be the same for other people with ADHD, but what I focused on with my hypnosis for ADHD people was I find a lot of the time I go into my hyper-focus state, my super ADHD hyper-focus that I use for when I'm working, when I'm doing hypnosis when I'm being hypnotized. So what I try to do is when I'm doing my confusion stuff, I will like hone in on that. And most people have like a focused state while they're working, but I find with people with me as an ADHD person, I find, man, very fun to then take my hypnofocus, my hyperfocus, and make it hypnofocus, if that makes sense. Yeah, hey, someone else puts confusion overload in the same category. Wait, people don't do that? Sorry, hold on. I'm just going to take a moment to say, people don't put confusion overload in the same thing, but they're the same. But they're all part of the same thing. Confusion and overload. They go together like peanut butter and jelly in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They go together like fish and chips. Confusion and overload. Damn. Okay. Well, I agree with you. It's. I agree with you. They do. They're best friends. Are they the same? Yeah, no. But they fit together very well. They go together like something. Confusion and overload. All right. Oh, now I've been set off. Right. Let's continue. So that's how you do the absorption part of that. That's pretty easy. It's, again, the more you say confusing stuff, the more you have them focusing on the confusing stuff, the better you have the absorption. Right. Dissociation. Now, fight or flight is a very interesting thing, right? So when somebody is overwhelmed with something, their brain goes into fight or flight mode. Now, this is really great for dissociation because not 9 times out of 10, but what will happen to some people is they'll go into a dissociative state when you put them into like an overwhelmed position, right? So dissociation can be quite easy with these. Again, you use your dissociative language. You really focus on the overwhelmment of it all and how much better it will be not to be overwhelmed, which will already have their brain going, I could get out of this. And to get out of this, I need to get out of my brain, literally. So there's that. Again, you don't make it mean unless you've consented to making it mean. At that point, make it as mean as you like, I guess. So there's that. And then in terms of suggestibility, I mean, you're already suggesting a bunch of stuff with this. Body scanning, you're suggesting them to focus on different things. You are literally guiding where they go. You are telling them what to do. And a lot of the time, a confusion and an overload induction is done in quite a forceful manner or a forceful tone, you know? So, yeah, exactly. So there we go. Mm-hmm. So suggestions are all baked in. But if you really want to add some more, you can add some, like, say if you're doing a 7 plus or minus 2 and you're like, oh, focus on this thing over here and this thing over there and that thing over there and look what's over here and this one over there and that one over there too. In the middle of that you go, or you can think about relaxing and letting all that go, which is a suggestion. And the more you add those kind of suggestions just thrown in there, the more likely they'll be to take it, at which point they're responding to your suggestions. And once you have them responding to your suggestions, boom, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, you're done. Relaxation PMR. So obviously the issue with these is within a kinky context, a person could probably be too relaxed to do anything. Although I'm trying to be nicer to the progressive muscle relaxation. I've read many think pieces on why people shit on this, and I feel like most of that is kind of my fault. I think I need to make an apology video for the progressive muscle relaxation at this point. Maybe I will. Who knows? In a genuine way. I'm not trying to be funny or nothing. But yeah, so how this works is you have somebody absorbed into the relaxation of it all, which is good. You are focusing them on the relaxation growing in their body and comparing that to previous times they've been relaxed, boring them into trance. No, it doesn't. No, don't put words in my mouth. No. Don't apologize. It doesn't deserve it. Oh no. No, I can name 2 or 3 people who were to blame before you. I'm glad it's not just me. I'm part of the problem. I'm not part of the solution, but maybe I could be. Okay, we could resurrect the PMR. I think I have I have enough power in this community now to make this happen. Yeah, we could do it. We could start a PMR campaign. We can give PMR some better publicity. Anyway. I don't like to take 40 minutes to induce myself. I don't like to take 40 minutes. Now, the only reason I've ever done a 40-minute induction is mostly your fault. Looking at my channel and going, it's you. You asked for this. And because you said, Secret, please make it longer, I went, sure thing. And then I made it longer. I only do stuff because people ask me nicely and I go, oh, I feel bad not doing it. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm the conditioned one here, not you. Anyway, so absorption, again, you're getting them to focus on their body, focus on their muscles. Dissociation, you're going to use a ton of dissociative language with these, especially in the PMR. You're going to say, those feet, those eyes, that hand, that chest, breathing in and out. You're really going to really hone in on that dissociative language, okay? Yeah. And then, in terms of suggestions, again, you are guiding someone through something, especially in the visualization induction. The more you are, this is dangerous. This is not dangerous information. It's only dangerous if you use it for dangerous purposes. Please don't. I don't want that. Jesus. So the suggestibility comes from the suggestions of like imagining the thing, especially for people who are very good at visualization. This is probably very good for them because again, you are leading them through this thing. You're getting them to do that thing. You're suggesting the suggestions. All right. Fractionation. So again, like I said before, these are usually recommended for beginners as they're easy to do for you as the beginner hypnotist, and they're easy for new people because they're easy to respond to. And it also has built-in conditioning. So absorption, where is that? Well, you're getting them to focus on the act of closing their eyes and opening their eyes. Close your eyes and open your eyes, or counting down with each number. You're going to close your eyes and open your eyes. You're getting them to really focus on that and hone in on that. And you can really double down on focusing on the feeling of your eyes and the action of closing your eyes and opening your eyes, closing your eyes and exactly like that over and over. The dissociation, again, dissociative language. You're also just going to really push the idea that every time they are closing their eyes or going into trance, they're letting go of their surroundings, they're focusing on you. The more you really, like I said, you really want them to focus on what you're doing and not on anything else. All right? Time, space, the room around them, sounds they might hear, none of that matters. What matters? Right here, right now. That's how we're going to push that dissociation. We're going to be like, nope, that doesn't matter. This matters. That doesn't. This does. All right? So simple, so effective. I love it. Yeah, me too. And then the suggestions, again, you're asking them to follow your words. Every time you tell them to close their eyes and open their eyes, that is a command. That is a suggestion. All right? Suggestions don't have to be complicated, like, and you'll raise your arm when I say balloon or whatever. it can be as simple as like closing your eyes and opening your eyes and you telling them what to do. The more you're telling them what to do, the more you're suggesting stuff, and they follow it, the more their brain goes, oh, when you say this, I do that. And the more you get that, you say this, I do that kind of thing, then that's it. That's all you need. It's very simple when you break it down. All right? Yeah. So I'll just quickly go over this for the countdown fractionation induction. There's also a lot of examples of fractionation inductions out there. I've done 1,000,001 of them at this point, to the point it became a meme in my community at one point. It was like secret say the thing, basic fractionation induction. Who knows? Maybe I'll come back with another basic fractionation induction. Who knows? Rapids. Okay, so these rely on a lot of pre-talk and they do not work well over the internet and they're usually quite physical, so please keep this in mind. Like I said before, rapids I find are really hard to pull off. The absorption comes from the fight or flight shock. So does this association comes from the fight or flight shock. You're getting them to really focus on you because you do these very fast. Like the butterfly fingers, the hand drop, the magnetic hands one where you get them to put their hands out like this. Oh God. Get them to put their hands out like this, and then you have them getting closer and closer and closer together until they touch. Those are, again, these are all very, very rapid. You could probably do some of these over the internet, actually. The magnetic hands and the hand drop. Yeah, no, the hand drop could work. The butterfly fingers could definitely work. But it really all depends. Yeah, how well do you think rapid induction could work in VR? I mean, I don't know. I would say try it and see what happens. Because there's no harm in trying. You know? There's no harm in trying. So yeah, so where does the absorption come in? It comes in and you're moving very quickly. You're getting someone to focus on you extremely quickly. And a lot of these are very physical, very kinesthetic, very movement-based inductions. Like the magnetic hands. You get them to hold their hands out like this. Whoop. Hold their hands out like this. And then you suggest that there's magnets between their hands that are pulling their hands together. And you get them to focus on the space. And then their hands pull together, okay? Now, some of these, like the magnetic hands, again, have natural, like, human things built in that you are taking credit for. The magnetic hands, the more you start to think about the space between the hands, the more your hands just want to move closer and closer together, right? So you can then utilize that, which is very fun. Again, the dissociation comes from, they're really focused on you. The more they're focused on you and what they're doing physically, the less they're thinking about everything else. Natural dissociation. Suggestibility. This one's really easy because the suggestions are hard and they're fast and they're coming at you very quickly. Especially when you get to the and sleep. Close your eyes, go into trance kind of moment. You know, you're already getting them to follow your instructions. So by the time you get to the and close your eyes and sleep, that's that. You're done. You're done. Magnetic hands is also an imagination component. Yes, I agree. Because you're getting them to imagine the magnets between their hands while also looking between their hands. I mean, it's kind of a genius one. There's also the one with the hand to the face that I've done recently. If I can find a video, I'll link some of these down below. I'll give maybe a few different ones that I've made recordings of in the description below as examples, if I can remember which they are. And if you can remember which they are, you should link them in the comments below when this is finished. Thank you. I appreciate that because, hey, secret fans, you know my content better than I do. A lot of you actually know my back catalog better than I do myself, so I appreciate that. And so the Dave Ellman. The Dave Ellman is basically the kitchen sink of all inductions at this point because we have a lot of stuff we've already seen. Yes, set. Getting people to comply. You're already baking in that suggestibility. You're getting them to say yes to you. That is suggestibility right there. You're going to be agreeable with me, and thus you're going to go along with what I say. The eyelid catalepsy. Again, there's a lot of absorption in there because there's a lot of focusing on stuff. Focusing on your eyelids getting heavy. Focusing on opening and closing your eyes. Focusing on the arm drop and relaxing your arm. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, hand to the face is very fun. It's also super basic and quite easy to pull off on both sides. So yeah. Yes, there is going to be a VOD here. Don't worry. There is a VOD. This isn't Twitch. There is a VOD. Welcome to YouTube. I love YouTube so much. In most ways. In other ways, I can take or leave it. The dissociation also comes in. The dissociation also comes in because you can, again, use dissociative language. Very easy to just add that in there. Right. So that's kind of like how this all works. Hold on. What does this say? Right. So, Now we go back to Hypnosis 101 really quickly. I know this is a little bit of backwardsing and forwardsing, right? Because we've already done a basic Hypno 101, and then we do our induction stuff, and now we're back. So this is the anatomy of a hypnotic scene. Now, again, you do not have to play like this, and please don't. Like, you know, you don't have to do it all in this order, because it gets incredibly boring. But there are certain things in here that are very, very important, okay? So a lot of people might say, hopefully not as many now, that Hypnosis Kink session is made up of some key parts, okay? You have your consent chat. Now, this one, I would say mandatory. Nobody come in here and tell me that you can't do your consent first. You absolutely 100%. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. This is the one non-negotiable, all right? And the negotiation is non-negotiable. You hear me now? You hear me now, all right? Even people like my wife and I who've played for a long time do a negotiation. And it doesn't look like everyone else's negotiation. It doesn't look like a 30-minute, like, in-depth discussion on what is exactly about to happen. But there's, like, years of training in there that we can go, hey, would you want to do that? Yeah, cool, great, cool, consent, done deal, right? Even when you have blanket consent, you still got to negotiate some way, somehow, right? Negotiation, non-negotiable, all right? No. No consent at the end. No. You start there. No, you can't backtrack this. This is it. You start here. This is the start point. The same start point. This is where we start, okay? This is it. Regardless of what you're doing. Yes, right. Then people typically do the induction, then a deepener, then suggestions, then they wake up and they play around. Then they repeat until done, and then they aftercare. Again, the aftercare, the beginning and the end, non-negotiable. However, the middle part, that's where I take issue, because a lot of people then say to me, but Secret, I need to do my induction, my deepener, my suggestions, my wake up, we play around a bit, and then we do it all again until we're done. And I'm like, well, that is so fucking boring. How boring! That is so boring. That is incredibly boring. Now, if you play like this, I'm not trying to roast you, okay? You can play like this. This is how a lot of stage hypnosis goes. They do their induction. They play around with the deepener. They give them suggestions. They wake them up. They play around. They make people pole dance on stage or bark like a dog. And then they keep doing that until they're finished. And then they go, and we're done. Woohoo! Everyone, thanks for coming to my show. And if that's how you want to play, that is valid. That is okay. However, I personally don't play like this. Right, so how should you run a scene? However you like. However you like. If it's negotiated, you can do whatever order works for you and the person that you're playing with. For example, this is how I typically approach a session, right? So I'll do my consent or negotiation in here. Then I'll start with my induction and here's the kicker, right? I like to actually do my induction and my suggestions combined together. I know, together. Amazing. So how I'll do that is if I'm doing, like, say I'm doing fractionation on someone, I'm also going to then throw in some of my, like, obedience-y, dommy-mommy bullshit in there, because it also preps people for what's about to happen. So a lot of people will say to me, Secret, I wish you did more trigger play, where I gave you a trigger and then we play around with it. But personally, I feel like the session, for me, I prefer it to be, like, all blended together as, like, one big thing, right? You know? I like to have some, like, trigger play in there, and then some, like, throw in a whole bunch of stuff. It means you can kitchen sink it. No, you're not a basic bitch at all. It's just however you prefer to play is up to you. But I also feel like previously, and this is why I'm going to explain the previous slide, okay? Previously, when people have taught a Hypno 101, they've taught with that exact structure. When I was playing back in 2011 with people, that was the exact structure of a scene, of a session, of what I was doing with people. People would literally go through those steps. They'd do their trance, they would do the deepener, they would do the triggers, they would wake me up, we'd play with the triggers, they would do it again and again, which is fine. It's fine. It gets quite boring and repetitive, where I feel like there's a lot of other stuff you can do. Plus, what about waking trance? What about those moments where you wake someone up out of trance and you decide, instead of putting the trigger in while they're in trance, you're actually going to put the trigger in while they're out of trance, but they're still hypnotized because you've already fractionated the absolute ever-loving crap out of them, right? Where's the place for that? And that's what I like. That's my personal thing. Again, mileage may vary. If you love to do it in the way where it's very prescriptive and the person you're playing with also loves that, that's cool. But I also feel like people get really hung up on the deepener thing. All right? People get hung up on like induction, then deepener, and it's like, okay, but you actually don't need the deepener most of the time. Exactly. I'm not the absolute authority on hypnosis. I am one person with one opinion. Again, I am one person with one single opinion. There are tons of people out here in this community who are more knowledgeable than I am, who have different ways of doing it, and that's okay. However, I just want to say that I think there's room for flexibility. There's a lot of room for flexibility. Tons and tons of room for flexibility. All right? So, like, you should not feel like if you don't play the way that people in the past have set as, like, these are the ways to play, you are still valid. Because in the past, people have tried to invalidate my content, my work, my play, and my personal, like, feelings about this because I don't play like that, you know? So don't ever let people tell you there is a set way of doing things, because there is not. As long as you've got your non-negotiable negotiation and your aftercare, whatever you do in that middle bit, that is up to you and whoever you're playing with. I mean, sometimes the best scenes that I've ever done have actually not had inductions at all. The person I've been playing with is so conditioned, you can just like start throwing triggers at them on a whim. So like, maybe you do that. Maybe you're like, fuck it, tonight we're not going to do the induction, we're skipping that part. Maybe you're going to do only the induction. And you're going to focus on only the induction, only the deepener, and then that's it. There's no suggestions, there's no nothing. There's no trigger play, there's no nothing like that. I have also done a lot of play where I've not installed triggers at all. Some people get really hung up on triggers, where they're like, oh, I need triggers for something. And by the way, for people who don't know, triggers are words, phrases, actions, or motions that trigger a response, okay? So, for example, if I snap my fingers and say sleep, you'll go into trance. Easy. People get really hung up on like, oh, but do you have a trigger for that? And then you see people with trigger lists that are like 500, 600 words long, because they're like, oh yeah, I've got a trigger for that. And then what I found with trigger play is I was accidentally putting triggers into my wife that would already in my wife, but for different things. So her brain got really confused. So I had to then had to do a lot of reworking of these triggers. I basically had to like reprogram a computer in my wife's brain at one point. It was fucking wild. So for me, trigger play, I don't do a lot of it anymore, because I'm just like, you know, for this session, we can use this word or this phrase. We do have a list of triggers somewhere, but I don't know where it is. It got kind of wild, I know. But you know, so you don't need that kind of stuff. So again, you can do whatever you want, really. I personally like waking trance play. Maybe you don't like waking trance play. Maybe waking trance play is not for you and your partner who you're doing hypnosis on. You know, so you're like, okay, waking trance, not for us. But me, I love that shit. I love that shit. It's so fun. So fun to have someone who looks like they're awake. And then you look at them in the eyes and go, but are you awake? And they go, oh, fuck, my entire life has been blown up right here in that one phrase. You really have to, like, own it, though, when you look them deep in the eyes and you coyly ask, but are you really awake? And then they go, oh, no. And you go, oh, yes. Because maybe you're actually not awake this whole time. Maybe you're just doing exactly what I told you to. Tee-hee, ha-ha. Maybe you just forgot what I told you earlier. Tee-hee, ha-ha. And they're like, what did you tell me earlier? Like, gaslighting. Love that. Oh, God. Yeah. So you can do this however you like. But remember, there's negotiation at the front, aftercare at the end. And anyone who tells you aftercare and negotiations are not important, screw those people. Honestly, no, I'm done with playing nice with those people. I've met a handful of these people before who told me that aftercare is not important, and who've actually taught that in classes that I've been at before. And I can tell you, fuck that shit. No, you stop that. You're being very silly. You're being very silly. You have to do aftercare. And now aftercare doesn't look the same for everybody, but you have to do it, okay? It's very important. Oh, God, my soapbox moment for that. I'll probably come back at later. All right, wording suggestions. I'm also looking at the time. This is going to get very, very long. I'm really sorry. How did I keep this to an hour when I did this at Charmed? I must have literally talked so fucking fast. Like, I must have. I think I skipped half of this too. So, for the people at Charmed, you're finally getting to see the back end of this class. Right, wording suggestions. We're going to talk about how do we word inductions with, now we, fuck, just read the slide. Now we look at how we're going to approach a hypnotic induction with absorption, dissociation, suggestibility in mind, but we also need to talk about wording suggestions. Wording suggestions becomes extremely important in terms of hypnotic language, because language is a massive part of hypnosis. And I'm not talking about verbal language, because you can do hypnotic language through text. You can do hypnotic language through sign language. You can do hypnotic language through body positioning, and you could be completely silent and do it. Body language is extremely important, but hypnotic language is important. So there's two styles of language, okay? There's permissive and authoritative. Now, this is where it comes into play when I say hypnosis is a neutral force, okay? Permissive is the very, gentle style of speaking. You give listener the time and idea of choice. So typically, there's not always a choice in there. You're giving them options, though. For example, if I was going to do a permissive style, which is a lot of my style, to be honest, I would say, and maybe right now you can think about whether you're going to close your eyes and relax or whether you're going to keep relaxed with your eyes open. You know, I'm giving you choices. I'm not saying you do this now. I think Sleeping Girl is a book on gaslighting. Yes, you should absolutely go read that. I haven't yet, but I guarantee it's good. I've been reading some of Sleeping Girl's books, and I thoroughly enjoy them, actually. The brainwashing book is very interesting. Authoritative, this is a more direct approach, a more forceful language, and you're telling the person what to do and how to do it. So if you're a real super hardcore dom, not like me, but if you're like the kind of dominatrix style, dommy, very dominant, if you're like the hardcore daddy dom out there, and you're like, you may find is the drinking game phrase if you're watching me hypnotize someone. Oh man, now how drunk will someone be? Is that like me with That's Right? Never play the secret subject drinking game where you take a shot every time I say that's right. You'll be so wasted. Do not recommend. But yeah, authoritative. So if I was going to do an authoritative induction, I'd say, close your eyes now. Put that hand down now. Do this now. That's it. You're not giving them choices. You're literally telling them how to do. Right now, you're going to close your eyes and you're going to like it. Oh, God. Yeah, so there's that. So there's ways of doing it. Now, remember when we talked about the Dave Ellman, we talked about they usually do it with an authoritative style. They're telling people what to do. The reason being is because, again, when you have a dentist who's relaxing you for surgery, using the authoritative stuff is key. Yeah. Half of keeping up hypnotic patterns repeating yourself. So it's so true. We can talk about that more at the end. Because I'd love to have a 5-hour conversation about that. I'm not even joking. I would. So I like to think of difference in styles being between gentle doms and like a dominatrix style language. You can use both or either. You can flick between the two. While some people gravitate towards one naturally, you don't have to always stick to it, okay? So remember, if clicker induction, but it's just secret saying that's right. Oh God, I'm gonna go make a that's right induction now. That'll be it. After 2 months of making zero content, my first piece back is gonna be the that's right induction where I say that's right for 4 hours. People will love it. My voice will give out by the end, but people will love it. So again, naturally, if you are more like me and you're more of a gentle dom kind of vibe, then maybe you do a lot of permissive stuff and maybe you find it hard to do authoritative stuff. Maybe you're really into the authoritative stuff because that's the relationship you have with the person you're playing with. But you can also flick between the two. You can give them commands next to options. So for example, if I said to you, in a moment, I'm going to give you a choice. You're either going to close your eyes and relax deep into trance, or you're going to keep your eyes open and relax deep into trance. And then you turn around and say, now close your eyes. It's also quite shocking to hear a command next to something so permissive. You've given them the option, and the next minute you've taken the option away, which is like, wait, you've taken the option away? And then even reference, yes, I've taken the options away because you don't have options right now, you know? You give them like the real 1-2 punch with that. I mean, it could be quite fun. Maybe I'll do an entire induction like that because that could be quite cool. Giving them cool the idea of choice. There you go. The thing writes itself. Okay. Back to Hypnosis 101. Right. So there's also 2 types of suggestions. Direct. This is straightforward to the point. There is no guesswork involved, and it is usually phrased as a command. You will go into trance right now when your eyes close and I say sleep. That's a direct command. I'm giving that to you. I'm usually doing this in an authoritative way. You can say it in a permissive way. You just say it gentle. You will go into trance right now with your eyes closed and I say sleep. Nice way of doing it. Okay? Then you have indirect. So this indirect commands are actually really hard for people to wrap their head around sometimes. Some people naturally gravitate towards this because they're real good at NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. It's the language of someone's brain. And some people are real into that gaslighty, brainwashy NLP kind of vibe, which is good for you. But the rest of us have to work real hard at this. So it's really good to practice both of these. So indirect is a suggestion that is worded in a way that doesn't make it seem like a command. For example, isn't it funny how some people find themselves in trance now just from breathing deeply and closing their eyes? There is a command in there. The command in there is, you are in trance now from breathing deeply and closing your eyes. But I've worded it in such a way that it feels like it's just kind of like hidden in plain sight. Okay? This is connected to the Erickson style of hypnosis. You might have heard of Milton Erickson, who is a very famous person when it comes to hypnosis and especially with NLP. He worked a lot with indirect suggestions, NLP, and that kind of stuff. So if you want to learn more about that, I really recommend you download an app. It's called Salad, and it has NLP phrases and commands. So if you want to get really good at direct versus indirect, you should absolutely get that app. Download some Salad card packs, or you go into Google and you Google Zebu card PDF. I'm not encouraging piracy, but if you happen to find it for free, it's not on me. Oh dear. Yeah, I need to get better at honestly, indirect neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro-linguistic programming, that's the word. It's very fun to say. I love saying it. Yeah, indirect is basically reading between the lines. Yeah, a little bit. It's just like a backwards way of saying stuff. The app is very good. The app is very, very good, and I quite like it. Erickson is the Bruce Lee of hypnosis. Some people really love him. Some people are like hella into that stuff, and they subscribe to the Church of Milton Erickson. I personally am like, hey, he was a dude who did hypnosis. So like, that's cool. But some people really get into this style of hypnosis, and that's okay. If that's you, that is all good. Yeah. NLP is like C#, but for brains. Wow, what a nerdy explanation there, Celia. All right, you should practice both of these. Why? Because having a variety of language patterns in your back pocket comes in handy when doing inductions on the fly. It helps create an approach that's going to catch more than just one type of person. And then I'm supposed to find an app called Salad. It's so vague. Just search Salad cards is what I searched, and it came up. It's got a little picture of like a flower on the front, so you'll know. But yeah, so it's really important to practice both of these, and also it helps your hypnotic patter if you've got a few of these in your back pocket, because then you can watch the response you're getting from someone and throw some of these in there to really add to what you're doing. All right? Okay. So why is language so important for creating inductions? Because it literally is hypnosis. It doesn't matter how the language is communicated via text, voice, and video, person, sign language, smoke signals, body language. What you say and how you say it matters a lot. Now, a lot of people don't think very carefully about what they say while someone is hypnotized. You should absolutely think very carefully about what you say when people are hypnotized, because somebody's brain takes in a lot more information than you think. Even stuff like facial expressions, body movements, things like that can mean a lot when you're working on this kind of level. So just be very, very, very specific with what you're doing, you know? I've learned this from experience. You know, yeah. It also allows you to get better at hypnosis. The more you improve your skills of language and suggestion types, you know, so the more you start to play around with like different things. And I know, right? I know a lot of people tend to get into that rut of like, this is my one induction and this is the one way I do this one induction and it works every time. There's always going to be one person out there who that doesn't work for. And the second you find that person, you're both going to feel really bad about it. So it's always best to cast with a wide net, try different stuff, explore, experiment, and keep learning, because it's super, super important to just keep trying, keep learning. Okay, this is just a very brief chat on priming. And I didn't used to talk about this in my 101, but I think priming is actually incredibly useful. So what is priming? Priming is preparing someone for a scene. It gives clues to someone's mind as to what is going to happen, and is a great tool for getting someone ready for hypnosis. Priming is your friend. Consent checks are mandatory, but also can be a great fun way to prepare someone for a scene that is about to happen. So, this is also a brief anecdote on why I tell stories sometimes in audios. Right. So, the reason why I tell stories in audios is because when I tell a story to someone, when I give someone an anecdote of my own experience with hypnosis, I'm getting them prepared and imagining in their mind what I went through. And then I can throw in and now that's happening to you. For example, I had a file where I talked about, I think it was a clicker file where I talked about the person who used to have a clicker trigger for me. And the story goes, once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, I had a dom, surprise, surprise, who actually grabbed this little counter clicker because they were really cool. I saw someone with them one day and I was like, I want that. So I bought one and told my dom about it. And my dom was incredibly evil. And they were like, hey, so this little clicker right here, yeah, every time you click it, you go into trance. But the problem is you really want to click the clicker, but you also really want to talk to me. So now you're stuck in this position where you want to talk to me and want to stay awake and alert and with us so you can have a fun conversation with us. But at the same time, you really want to click that clicker, but that clicker is going to drop you so deep into trance that you're just going to go down and that's it. And so it was really torturous for me. However, in the beginning of my clicker audio, I told this story. What am I doing by telling you this story? I am priming you. I am priming you for an experience that I've already had that I'm now using to get you to have an experience. It seems extremely like Inception-y meta kind of hypnosis, but I think it's very, very useful sometimes to lead in with something that relates to what you're going to do. So for example, if I'm doing a consent check with someone, I will talk to them about everything that they want to do. And then I'll ask them a question, right? I'll be like, so why to you is that hard? Or why to you is that fun? Why is that what you want to do today? Why is fractionation so sexy to you? And then they'll tell me. And what I'll do is I'll listen very carefully to the words that they said. Why am I doing that? Okay, I'm doing that because I'm a secret evil genius who is then going to use every single word that they said exactly. I'm going to remember those words. So for example, if I ask you, why do you love fractionation? So chat, why do you love fractionation? Why do you love fractionation? It's only on the iOS app? Is it really? I thought it was on Android. That's interesting. I'll see if I can find it and I'll try and put a link in the description below to somewhere to find those cards. So so for fractionation lovers out there, why do you love fractionation? We're going to see what phrases come up that I can use in my evil scheme. But yeah, so I think like, I remember this one file where I think it was a flirt induction that didn't work well. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Fractionation sexy because my brain goes, okay, so in the middle of the induction that I'm doing on you, I'll turn around and go, and isn't it so sexy that I can make your brain go, Isn't that exactly what you wanted? Because that's exactly what you told me. What a wise guy used to say? Those words are prelude for easy insertion. Yeah, mind-breaking kink. Oh, and because you have a mind-breaking kink. Yeah, there you go. Because I told you I should like it. Oh my god. And because you were told you should like it. Yeah, so there you go. So, and I don't know, it just feels good. And you love fractionation because, I don't know, it just feels good. And then you go, wait a minute. It also is quite shocking to someone's brain when they hear words they've said out of their own mouth or texted to you or whatever. However, whatever you want to, however you want to do it in terms of how you're doing this stuff, however someone has told you this information, you using it against them is surprising and lovely and a great thing. And again, priming. So this is why we prime. Okay? It doesn't mean that you should be leading the conversation, by the way, in the consent check. I actually think this is why if you are the person doing the hypnotizing, let the person who's being hypnotized lead the consent check, lead the negotiation. And how you do that is by asking them open-ended questions. Hey, what do you want to do? Let them tell you. Why do you want to do that? Let them tell you. How have you been hypnotized in the past? Let them tell you. Use this information. This is all vital information. And this is why rapport building, right? The building of rapport is so important in hypnosis. okay? Because again, the more rapport you've built with someone, the better the hypnosis will be. Because you know them so well, you can push these little buttons. These are all little buttons to press, and it doesn't make things complicated. I think a lot of people get hung up on making this really complicated, mystical thing that they've read about in a book, and they whip their script out and they read it ad verbatim from the paper. Whereas instead, if you use this as an exercise in getting to know someone and getting to know someone's brain, you can really tinker around and find some cool stuff. So, chat, we're going to make our induction today, all right? We're going to do this together. This is an exercise in creating an induction on the fly. So, and I put this as a kinky con. It's not a kinky con anymore, but it was a kinky con, and it was very fun. So here we go. So when do we get hypnotized? In this class? We'll see. So let's make an induction. We're going to hypnotize Bob. Bob is a male sub whose favorite things are long walks on the beaches, being told what to do, and pegging! And now this channel is demonetized. But to be fair, this channel was making no money before, so I don't see what's different about this. Right, what kind of inductions or sessions could we make Bob on the fly with his consent? And please don't mention the word in the chat. So this is Bob. So what we're going to do is, with his consent, we're going to make him an induction. So, chat, this is your time to shine. Tell me, chat. Tell me, chat. What things are we going to do to Bob today to get him into trance? What kind of induction are we going to use on Bob? So let's start there. What kind of induction, and what are we going to say? Bob could be me, just like me, for real. I do like Bob. So, all right, so what are we going to do to Bob? Bob's here to be hypnotized. We're going to hypnotize Bob. What are some things? Imagine walk on the beach. Walking deeper into the waves. We could do that. Oh, yeah, you're right, because he loves beaches. No, you're very correct there. We could do a PMR. We could absolutely do PMR with a feeling of sand and the waves. He loves a long walk on the beach. And in fact, he's actually really good at remembering his walks on the beach. So you could, yeah, we could do that. You could absolutely bend him over and do that into trance if you really wanted to. If that was thing, beach imagery, yeah, exactly. Long walks on the beach can lead to a never-ending walk on the further steps of trance. Genius, I love that. See, ocean sounds. Yep, Bob likes bobbing up and down. Yeah. Okay, what else could we do with Bob? What kind of approach would we take? Here's an idea. What if we did an authoritative beach walk induction? Or instead of walking him down the beach, we just put him on a leash and dragged him down the beach? That would be quite fun. Oh dear, I'm bad. Yeah, connect the motion with going into trance. Motion of the waves. Yeah, you could absolutely do the motion of the waves. Getting tired from how long you're walking. Exactly. I'm thinking the assertive tone. Yeah, you could absolutely then throw in. I think it's also quite surprising too to then take a relaxing beach induction with a very assertive tone. I don't know how that would work, but I really want someone out here, whoever, if you like PMR, do an authoritative PMR. Somebody. Anyone, please, for the love of God, do an authoritative PMR. I think it'd be so fun. I want to hear that one. I want to hear you tell someone very forcefully to go into relaxation and relax every single part of their body right now. Right now. Oh, wow. Yeah, like, that could be done. Where would pegging into... Okay, I'm just going to call it the P word from now on, because I don't want my entire channel to be deleted. So, the P word. If you wanted to P-word someone into trance, right, you could focus on the motion of the P-wording. You know what I mean? The in and out, in and out, in and out. You could this into trance. And with every one, go deeper. Just like that. Can you tell I'm asexual? Like, you're like, this is the weirdest. Is this how this works? I don't know. I don't do that. But yeah. You could do that. Yeah. Paint with happy little trees. Exactly. Yeah. There you go. There's ways and means. Sounds fun. Yeah. For somebody, I mean, if you're in person with Bob, then that's cool. The water is drugged and they are relaxing without any resistance. Oh my God, that's genius. I love that. Use the motion as a sliding scale. Oh my God, stop! My wife, everyone, she's a degenerate. Stop! All right. Well, we seem to have done that. Well done. All right, so this is my version of session for a Bob. Okay, so I'm going to use his love of beaches against him. Because again, you should always use what people love against them. Using a fractionation technique where he watches the waves go in and out. When the tide comes in, he carries him along with him, including his mind and his grip on control. Yum, yum. Delicious. I eat that for breakfast. During this, I will use a variety of indirect and direct suggestions and lean on his ability to feel how it feels to be on a beach. Then I'm going to slowly connect his loss of control with his need to be P-worded till he's ready for the thing to happen. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Ta-da! That's my magic trick today. Ta-da! So, I mean, but that's just one way of doing it. As you can see in the chat, we've got many, many ways of doing it. Oh my god, hold on. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze, and I don't want to sneeze on stream. Oh god. Oh god. Sounds like blackmailing? No. Okay, we did it. I survived. Okay, woo. Okay. So, back to Inductions 101. Before we write an induction, quick reminder. We're actually not going to write an induction today. We're not going to physically write it. We were going to do this, but I think we're not going to do that. So this is just a quick reminder. There are no set magic words, okay? There are no set magic words, okay? A lot of people, they'll read a script online, and then they'll read it, and they'll go, why did that not work on somebody? Because there's no set magic words. Repeat after, there are no set magic, that should be the new mantra meme. There are no set magic words for hypnosis. I know people really caught on to there's no drama in the hypnosis community, but honestly, they should really get onto there are no words for hypnosis, no magic words, even though there's a whole book called Magic Words written by somebody about hypnosis. No magic words. There's no one set way of doing this. And the more we get hung up on this one set of ways of doing this, the people just can't wrap their head around anything else. And it's unfortunate, because I think it stops a lot of people from trying this. So remember, it's not get hypno memers on that, exactly. Get hypno memers on that right now. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, exactly. There are no set magic words for hypnosis. Yeah. So it's not a series of words said in the right order. You can mess around and still have a great session. And in fact, you could like get halfway through a sentence, forget what you're saying, and go, oh no, I forgot what I'm saying, and then just like continue on down that path. You can do all kinds of stuff. I have many, many times been doing a live hypnosis session, and I've messed up, and instead of going, oh god, I've messed up, I just was like, fuck it, flub it, keep going. Because again, there are ways to keep going through even big mistakes, right? The worst thing you can do is overthink things while doing hypnosis, okay? If you're constantly thinking like, what do I need to say? What do I need to say? What do I need to say? It's going to put you off, and it's going to stop you from doing the thing that you want to do. Most of the time, with intent and the right amount of priming, you can do a lot. And remember what I said before, rapport. So rapport is the connection between you and the person you're hypnotizing. Rapport is really, 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 really important. Even in this kind of setting, right? Say the rapport between me and the people who watch my videos is important. The way I do that is by sharing stuff, by talking and sharing experiences I've had, but also making things both vague enough and also specific enough that people of that mindset will be like, oh yeah, I feel seen right now. The rapport gets built. That's also why I don't do hypnotherapy, because I have this kinky rapport with so many people that if I started doing hypnotherapy, I think it would just be bad. It would just be bad. Very bad. Yeah. Yeah, so there's that. And so remember, take the time to get to know someone and build that rapport. It will make your hypnosis way easier. Yeah. And also, if you mess up your induction, breathe, damn it. Just keep breathing. Keep breathing and just focus, refocus your brain. Put yourself in a light state of trance yourself and just be like, okay, what am I doing right now? Let's go. Yeah, it's not usually important if you make a mistake. The person wants to be hypnotized. Exactly. The person's here to be hypnotized. They'll focus on that. Don't worry about a mistake. Unless it was like a big one that you can backtrack. But you know what's a big mistake and what's not. Keep going. Just keep going. Unless it's like a landmine you've stepped on or an ab reaction you've set off, then you can keep going. If it's an ab reaction moment, you wake them up and talk about that. But as long as it's not anything serious, you can keep going, and that's fine. And if you can't keep going, wake up and tell them about it. I've actually pulled a lot of sessions myself. I've tapped out as the dom before any of my subs have tapped out, and I am happy to admit that. I have like very low battery sometimes for scenes, and if it's a day when my ADHD is very, very like brain thinky, very fasty, sometimes my dommy stuff I can't do it. I can't get it up. So sometimes I'll start a scene, and then halfway through the scene I just realize like my energy has just tanked, and I will just tap it out. I'll just be like, hey, that's it, we're done. I'm in control of that scene, so I can pull that when I want to, when I need to. So never ever be afraid as the person doing the hypnotizing to basically say, that's it, I'm done, you know, and wake them up and then talk about it and be like, hey, actually, I'm sorry, like, I thought I had more energy than this, I don't. Sorry about that. Maybe next time we can do the next step, which is this or whatever. There's really nice ways of putting it, but like never be afraid to just be like, hey, not today, or hey, actually, I'm like halfway through, but like I'm not feeling this, or I need to change track or whatever. There is no point forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do, or forcing yourself into a session where you're not enjoying yourself, because again, this is supposed to be a mutual experience for both of you, right? This is supposed to be fun for both of you. I remember one time I was at a dungeon, right? And I was doing a flogging scene with a friend of mine. And I remember halfway through the flogging scene, I got so bored. My brain finds that really boring. To do that, I find impact play incredibly boring. So halfway through, I was just like, man, this is really boring. So what did I do? I decided to like finish it up, wrap it up, and then pull her out and then talk about it. And my friend was very, very kind about it. And she was like, hey, no worries. Like, that's okay. And I was like, yeah, but we can do something else. And here's something more enjoyable that I would find more enjoyable. What do you think? And we negotiated from there, and we found it to be a way better experience. Yeah. So, I mean, there are ways of making this happen that can really like change the whole scene and the dynamic of the scene, but you should never force anything. Okay. I find that a lot of times, especially dominance, we find it really difficult to talk about these things because we don't want to be seen as a bad dom, okay? Like the dom who can't be as dommy as everyone else. And I hate that. I really hate that because it makes you feel so invalidated. So it's really important that you always make sure that not only are you checking in with the person you're hypnotizing, that you're checking in with yourself too and making sure that, you know, you're good. Right, then we were going to write an induction, but we're actually not going to do that today. But I also have made, okay, now get this, I have made a sheet of various induction starters. A lot of people are like, Secret, how do you write your scripts? I'd love to write scripts like you, Secret. I wrote a bunch of induction starters. Some of them are phrases, some of them are full paragraphs, and some are just sentences. So if you would like that, I'm going to put that in the description below. I'm also going to pin a comment with this slideshow, plus that resource if you'd like access to that resource. People have told me that they found it really helpful, so I'm really glad to hear that you found it helpful. And if this is something that you want because you want to write scripts, or you want to practice writing inductions to use later, or writing inductions to, you know, do that kind of stuff, then yeah, absolutely use it. And again, you do not need to credit me. If you do make a file with it and you feel like crediting me, amazing. If you don't want to, that's okay. I don't own these phrases. All right, just because I wrote this doesn't mean like you don't have to credit me. But if you want to, that's cool too, you know? Yeah, I wanted to produce that because I know as someone who creates hypnosis content and has done it for, why am I grabbing my, I'm like, oh no. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize how cursed that was. For me personally, I've been doing this a long time, and I find that even sometimes it's really hard to just start that scripting process or start that hypnosis process. So I really, really, really want to help other people get into this. I'm incredibly supportive of content creators in this community, and I just want to continue to do that for people because I think it's really, really important. So yeah. Anyway, I'll put that in the description below once this is done. But before we wrap up, how do you practice inductions? This is very important. So, on yourself, yes, self-hypnosis is a thing. You can hypnotize yourself, and you can practice hypnotizing yourself. You can record your hypnosis session and send it to a friend. So maybe you've got a friend or a partner that you are like, hey, I want to try out some hypnosis, but I don't feel comfortable doing it face-to-face yet. or, you know, in person with you, but I'll record it to you and I'll send it to you. So you do that. You can find a friend to hypnotize. Maybe you are feeling confident and you're like, sure, I'm going to fuck around on Discord today, or I'm going to go to their house and we're going to do it. You can write it down, but then don't read it. Please don't read it when you're doing a live session with someone. I find people who read scripts during a live session, it's just not very personal, and I don't find it very nice. So don't read that. Don't read it out loud. If you're recording it, you can absolutely read it, and I think it's important to read scripts while you're recording if you want to. You can freestyle a recording. I used to freestyle everything I made until about 2020. So that's like 3 years worth of content. I fully improvised until 2020, and my ADHD got too bad. You know, so do that. But if you're doing hypnosis in person with someone, don't be the person with a piece of paper at the party. It's quite embarrassing. Or write bullet points to what you want to do. That's what I used to do. I used to have a notebook next to me. I write bullet points of what we want to do. And then as I grew in confidence, I ditched my notebook. The bullet point thing was very helpful too, because it made sure that I remembered, A, what we negotiated, because again, my brain is bad and I forget shit all the time. And B, it also reminded me like what I'm actually doing. So if I lost my train of thought, I was like, fuck it, let me look at my bullet points. Oh, yes. So there we go. But don't rely on these if you can. Try and get a feel for this. Try and get a feel for it, you know? And just remember, confidence is key. Consent check is a great time to also then do a little bit of priming to lead into the session. And there are no magic words. The ones you use and have chosen to use have power enough to hypnotize somebody. Okay? And that's it, I think. Let me check. The end! We made it! We survived! Oh God, we survived. Right. Are there any... Oh God, there's my body. Ah! Are there any questions? Any questions in the chat? Now, also, if you have any other questions about hypnosis, you can throw them in now. Yeah. Wow, that went way longer than I thought. So this is a 2-hour class. Oh God. Okay. Right. Oh, we got one already. Oh my God. Here we go. So anything to say on subliminals? Visual subliminals, like flashing words, inspires work unbelievably well on me. Yeah. Subliminals. The research on that is mixed at best. Some people say they work. Some people say they don't. Some people argue that they make you dumber. Which I'm like, for the IQ play kinksters out there, they are eating well with that. I don't know. I personally don't rely on subliminals because, again, I like to do my sessions like it was just you and me in a room together a lot of the time. That's why recently I've made a lot of audios that are not as layered as some of them have been in the past, because it's like, I like the idea of it's just like you and me together having an intimate moment. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So personally, I don't rely on subliminals, but if you want to play around, I don't think there's any harm, apart from the research that says maybe they make you dumber or something. I don't know. Or was that binaural beats? I think that could have been binaural beats. I don't know. So I again, not sure. The research is out on that one. Yeah, right. When are you going to be posting more general hypnosis? See, I knew this was going to come up. I fucking knew it. I had a feeling in my bones this is going to come up. I miss the weird scenarios you come up with. Well, thank you. I'm glad you are supporting my ADHD riddled brain. I don't know. So, we'll talk about that more later. I'll answer the general hypnosis questions first, and then we'll talk about where I'm at. Okay? Because it's complicated and it's going to go into it. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, okay? Right. How is inducing suggestibility and submission to your doing not a dominant act? You're making them follow your leading direction, the goal. Yeah, so listen. Okay, inducing submission to you is a dominant act. However, hypnosis itself is not a dominant act because suggestibility can be done without telling someone to obey you. Do you know what I mean? Telling them to follow your words and to obey you are two different things, okay? So it's not always like the camp of like the dominant, right? So you don't have to be dominant to do hypnosis. And I think like a lot of people will say, oh, but if we're doing it in an authoritative style, yeah, if you're doing it in an authoritative style, it does lead more towards dominance, right? However, if you're a submissive who wants to just do a gentle relaxing session on your dominant because they've had a hard day and you want them to relax for 5 fucking minutes, then you can do that with very permissive language and in a way that doesn't overstep their boundaries as a dominant. You know, there are ways to do it. I think we just need to broaden our minds to these things. And I think the narrative that submissives cannot do hypnosis, to me, is bullshit. Like, it's just utter bullshit. It also is quite devaluing to the submissive. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of submissives out here who are hypnotists. My wife is a submissive, and she's also a certified hypnotist. And she's done more professional sessions one-on-one in the therapy realm than I've done. Yeah. Which arguably makes her a professional hypnotist. Which arguably makes her more qualified in this shit than me. So, like, you know, so I feel like a lot of the time we all get hung up on like, oh, but this is, because we're in the Hypnokink community, we see this as like a DS relationship. The hypnotist is the dominant and the submissive is the hypnotee/subject, right? But I think that we need to broaden our horizons a little bit around that, because again, hypnosis is a neutral act. It's not a like a dominant or submissive. You know what I mean? It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Yeah, there we go. Okay, right. So what else have we got? How do you prevent false memory? What do you mean? How do you prevent false memories? I don't know. That sounds like a therapeutic technique, and anyone instilling false memories in people in a kinky context, red flag. Red flag. Whoo boy. But yeah, I'm not sure, and I'm also not sure if I should talk about that, because I'm worried it will get too much into a therapeutic deconditioning kind of space, and this is more of a generic kind of space, but yeah. I have a question you need to write out first. Okay, cool. Meantime, thank you for doing this very informative. Oh, thank you. I'm glad people are getting stuff out of this class, and yes, this class will stay up, and yes, you can watch this later, and yes, there'll be links and stuff coming. Anything to keep in mind for an online call? Yes. If you're playing with camera on, make sure you have a clear visual of who you're hypnotizing. Having a clear visual, I should have mentioned this before. The more you can see a person that you're hypnotizing, the better, because you can look at the tiny nuances in their responses. For example, if I can see you face to face, and I can see that your eyes are getting heavy, and you're blinking more and more, I can then go, oh, and I can see your eyes are already getting heavy and blinking more and more. That's okay, let that happen. You know, I'm then taking the nuances that I can see visually. Otherwise, the only thing you have to rely on responsiveness-wise is voice, text, and that kind of stuff. But you can listen for tiny nuances in their voice. But again, I would say try if you can to get on video. And if you can't get on video, no worries. Just listen very intently for things that they're doing. And also ask for affirmation. Do you feel relaxed right now? Yes. Are you getting more comfortable as we go along? Yes. Are you going deeper into trance? No. Why? And have them explain. You know, that kind of stuff. And listen also for the trancey voice, because they'll do it. Nothing more sexy than a trancey voice. Anyway. All right. Counter to the no, there's no magic words. If you're a witch, you're doing magic-themed scenes. They're all magic. Exactly. There you go. Every word is a magic word if you're doing a kinky scene around magic. That's cool. Any advice for someone who feels like they struggle with words? Absolutely. I think that what you need to do is focus on the overall arching things, right? When I first started, I had an issue with words too. I kept thinking and overthinking every little thing I had to say to someone to get them into trance. But the best way that I overcame this was to focus on, instead of the words, think about the steps, okay? So what I will get you to do, right? And this is a suggestion for anyone who's struggling with word stuff. Bullet point what you are going to do in your session, okay? Bullet point it down. So you're going to start with like, okay, I'm doing a fractionation session. So step 1 is I'm going to count back from 100, and I'm going to have them close their eyes on every even number and open them on every odd or whatever. And I'm going to do that again and again and again, and then focus on that. And then you just go through the steps of like, okay, so I know I need to do that. I know I need to do this. I know I need to do this. And make it more like a tick box. Okay, I've done that. I've done that. Because that will also help you find the language in there that works for you. Or, again, get those Zebu cards, those salad cards, and mix and match them together. It's really fun to just grab a bunch of them and just go, okay, I'm going to mix this phrase with this phrase with this phrase, because it's just fill in the blanks, which is very easy and super fun. Or, again, I'm going to put a resource down below where I've written some sentence starters and induction starters with fill in the blanks bits, so feel free to like use that as a starting off point and then practice that. The more you practice your hypnotic patter, the better you will get at it. And this is the problem, is a lot of the times people panic because they're like, I don't know what the words are, so I'm panicking, oh god, I'm panicking, which actually stops them from trying. Okay, so the biggest thing is you just got to keep practicing. The more you practice, the easier. I promise you, I've been doing this for like a long time now. I promise you it will get easier. And I used to have like full-on panic attacks after I did a session with someone. Like, I remember my first time I ever hypnotized someone, I had a full-on panic attack and insisted that my dominant remove my brain immediately. And it was thoroughly embarrassing. But it got me through, and I did it. And it was the step I needed to build. I mean, look, my entire career is now built on the back of hypnosis. So, like, if I can do that, you can do this. I believe in you. But you just keep trying, okay? All right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I hope that helps. Let's see what other questions we have. Sorry, I'm trying to go back through the chat and have a look. Ever been a dominant masochist? Oh my god, love that. Any advice for doing eye fixations? Hair pulling helps a lot, obviously, but anything else? Yeah, eye to eye fixation. You're very brave. I remember Wise Guy once told me. So here's the thing. I love eye-to-eye fixations because people tell me I have nice eyes. So I would then utilize that, because again, utilization, amazing. Use what you got. I got good eyes, so I look at them and I give them a look and they're like, whoa, what the fuck? So yeah, especially now I'm a VTuber, my eyes can glow. Not these ones, but my other models, I've had eyes that glow. I've got glowy eyes coming very soon. We're going to talk about that at the end though. So when you have fun stuff like that, you can then, However, I remember, so I was in class, and Wise Guy, who taught me through all of my my certifications, as Wise Guy teaches an amazing certification course. If you've ever wanted to become a hypnotherapist or be certified in hypnotherapy, or well, you can't say hypnotherapy in most places. I can, because I live in New Zealand. Our laws here are very lax on that. In other places, a bit more strict. But if you want to be a certified hypnotist, you should go see Wise Guy. Wise Guy is amazing. The course, very worthwhile for people who want to do this professionally, by the way. I do not recommend this for anyone doing this recreationally. If you want to become a professional hypnotist, maybe think about it, okay? Because it is an investment in your education towards hypnosis. So for people like me, who I've built a business around this, then you should absolutely consider it. If you're just like playing for funsies, don't worry about it. Just read Mind Play, and that's a lot. But anyway, while I was doing my certification course, Wise Guy was talking about eye-to-eye fixation. So that's when you look at someone in their eyes and you get them to focus on your eyes. And he said the funniest thing, which was, and these are very difficult, so if you are doing this with someone for the first time, maybe don't. And the reason I found this funny was because that used to be my signature move at the BDSM parties was an eye-to-eye fixation induction. And he was like, it's so difficult to get right, and most of the time they don't work, and I've never had one fail. So I was like, hi, so what if that's your signature move and you've only been doing those for like a long time now? And he like looks at me, he's like, secret why? And I'm like, it was just really funny. Because that was like my whole thing for a while, was I only did those. So yeah, so confidence. You have to be confident in what you're doing. If you break confidence at any time with an eye-to-eye fixation, they will know, they'll see it in your eyes. So please be extremely confident with it and know exactly what you're doing. Personally, because obviously I'm a dommy mommy, I like to be very forceful with mine. I like to be like, oh, you like my eyes, don't you? And then grab their head and pull it and look you in the eyes. It's a great move because it sets the tone for what you're about to do, you know? And you can like use that sensuality of that, if you will, the intimacy of that, the staring into their soul element of that as a kind of a jumping off point into your induction. But you just be very confident. You have to be. If you lose confidence at any point during that, you are fucked. So if you know that you are still learning and you're very new, or you're just like playing around and you're not super comfortable, start small. So start with someone you've already done a bunch of work with before, because they're already conditioned to your voice, your style, that kind of stuff. And then you can play around with light little eye fixation moments where you get them to look at your eyes, fractionate them with it. When I close my eyes, you'll close your eyes. And when my eyes close down, your eyes will close down. And when my eyes close down, your eyes close down, you go into trance. Close your eyes. Done deal. You're in trance. Bring them out, bring them down, bring them out, bring them down, and do that. And that gives you also a little boost of confidence that you can do that. And then eventually you'll come up with your own kind of style and way of doing that. But yeah, confidence is key with that one. You have to be extremely confident. And that's not coming from me. That's coming from Wise Guy. That is Wise Guy's thing, not me. But yeah. Oh, man. Okay. So here's a question. When I've done some trances, I do this thing where I make somebody's the hypnotic feeling experiences of their mind's body, a projection of them through the mindscape. Any ideas where this can lead to? I mean, yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff with like the hypno room in the back of your mind. If you really want to. If you're like, hey, I've projected you into a screen in the back of your mind, and now the screen is playing a scenario where you're on your knees and you look very submissive, don't you? And having them watch that back. I mean, there's like lots and lots of stuff. The only thing that limits you here is your creativity and the creativity of the person you're working with. So I would play around with that and see where you can go. Depends on the flavor as well that you want. Maybe you don't want a dommy subby moment. Maybe you want a nice relaxing moment. Maybe you have them floating through space. You know? Maybe you push them off a cliff. I don't know. I don't know. Mindscapes are fun. Okay. Let's have a look. Anything else? Okay, so I've been getting into writing scripts for ASMR. Well, welcome to that. Hey. All right, I've already written 2 scripts that use hypnosis, but my question is how to make a smooth transition from roleplay into hypnosis for sleep. Now, that is a great question. I find transitioning from just talking to hypnosis can be done a few different ways, okay? There's no one set way of doing it. I'll tell you how I do it. And I basically do it through, I already start to say stuff that sounds vaguely hypnotic, you know? Or I'll throw in the, oh, but you're so tired. Let's fix that. Da-da-da-da-da. You know? Like, you can find a wording or a phrase like, isn't it time for you to go to sleep, honey? And then you start your hypnosis. Like right now, when you close your eyes and relax like that, your pillow just gets so comfy, you know? Tease it a bit, flirt with it a little bit, like just play around with it. I think there's not one way of doing this, but there's definitely like, I think just having a word or a phrase that almost implies hypnosis, it sounds a little flirty. Maybe it sounds just a little like, oh, honey, it's time for bed now, so let's just relax, right? You can relax, right? You've already started relaxing because you've been listening to my voice this whole time. You know, whatever. So, yeah, there's definitely lots of ways of doing it, but play around. Yeah. Workshop it. See what sounds good. I also find, and this is just a general script writing thing, I am not a script writer. I don't do a lot of script writing myself. I might get into it eventually because, but I'll talk about that at the end, about some of my plans for the future, because my future content, I want to evolve. I'm looking at evolving. So maybe in the future I'll write scripts for people if people want that. But one of my things with script writing, and because again, I don't do this professionally, I just do it for me usually, I like to read my scripts out loud. And if they feel right in my mouth, if the words have a particular mouthfeel that feels good, then I work with that. Anything that sounds too clunky or too forced, I tend to take out and edit down until I have like the words that feel correct. I tend not to think about the length of things as long as it sounds like it feels correct to say. And sometimes there's some really confusing shit in there, which, yeah, can get real complex. So it's always good to read them out loud and see if that works. I also am very lucky I've got my wife, so when I was writing my scripts, I would be like, hey, babe, you got 45 minutes for me to read your script? And she's like, yep. So we would sit down, I'd read the script, and we'd check the potency of the script. So if you have someone you can read the script to, or you can send the script to read. If you know any ASMR people who are happy to read it, I would send them through and just see, hey, does this feel right to you? Yeah. I'm also, can I just say, I'm really glad to see a lot of ASMR people getting into hypnosis recently. I'm really glad to see a lot of script writers trying their hand at hypnosis recently. And I want to shout out to any of the scriptwriters who've asked me about hypnosis, because you guys are stars and amazing. I've had a couple of scriptwriters who have sent me hypnosis scripts and then gone, hey, is this hypnosis correct? Or like, is this right? Or whatever. And I think that's really lovely that people in the ASMR fantasy genre are wanting to take this a bit more seriously, which I love. I love that, because people are like, they want their hypnosis to work and not just be a role play anymore. And I think that's really nice. And I love that. I love this change. All right, you on Discord? Yeah, we've got a Discord. Can someone throw a link to the Discord in the chat, please? So we have a Discord. It is mostly a patron space, but it also has places where you can ask me questions and get updates on content. It's not a community per se. It's more just a place to ask me questions and just to keep up to date with my content and that kind of stuff. So yeah. I really struggle with low spoons. Yeah, valid. As a hypnotist, any idea how I can have a good idea if I have enough spoons for a decent scene? Any idea how I can have a good idea if I have enough spoons for a decent scene? I mean, look, I think you need to find something that inspires you. Find your, like, hypnotic muse, okay? My hypnotic muse is talking to people about hypnosis. I find that sometimes, and this is going to pair back with what I'm about to say later on in the stream, but I find sometimes it's incredibly hard for me to start. Even now, and I've been doing this for literally years. This is my job, this is my career, and I sometimes have days where I wake up and I go, I'm a fraud and I've forgotten how to do hypnosis. I made a tweet about it actually a few weeks ago where I said, I don't even know if I can do hypnosis anymore because my brain physically sometimes won't let me do it. But what I find really inspirational is I go to an event, or I talk to somebody online in a Discord server or in a group chat and we talk about it. Or I go into Tumblr and I read someone's essay about hypnosis, and that I find to be particularly inspiring to me. And it really gets my, like, hypno juices flowing, if that makes sense. So find what works for you, because for everyone it's different. For me, it's obviously that connection, reading a resource or reading what someone else has said and then using that as my starting off point to, actually, I find that quite sexy. Why and how? Where does that lead me? Okay, that leads me here. So then that will kind of get me going. You know, maybe talking to your sub, maybe asking them questions about what they like about it, what they don't. Being, like, opening a dialogue with somebody is very, very, very important. You know, other people being involved in this is really important and can help you a lot. So yeah, I would say if you are struggling with ideas, listen to what other people are doing. Sometimes I'll listen to a file. I know, shocker, right? The powerful Dommy Mommy will sometimes put a file on. Not often, not recently, but sometimes I'll listen to someone else's work, because sometimes hearing somebody else hypnotize me is insanely inspiring. And a lot of that stuff inspires work, and I love that. So yeah, I would say just, yeah, connect with people, try different stuff and see what clicks for you, because what clicks for you might not click for someone else. Okay, so question. So it was talked about a bit at the start, but is it normal to not see anything when a scene is being described, i.e. stairwell or beach? Is it a conscious thing that you should be doing? No, so it is very normal for people to not be able to visualize the staircase. All right. When I close my eyes and visualize a staircase, I do not physically see a staircase. I imagine the motion of going down the stairs. You know, the feeling of going down the stairs is what's big for me. So for everybody, it's different, okay? Some people, you say, imagine a staircase, and they'll close their eyes and they'll see mahogany stairs in a giant ballroom with lights and color and all this kind of shit. And other people will not see that at all, but they'll feel the feeling like I do. Or somebody might just not and just be listening to the words and just be imagining the motion. I don't know. Imagination is a strange thing. And for everybody, it works very differently. So if you can't imagine the staircase, that is okay. What you might want to explore is how, for you, imagination works. If that makes sense. Just, like, think about stuff and be like, okay, so if the walking down the staircase thing isn't working for me, maybe the staircase induction is not for you. Maybe you like the hypno sledgehammer to the head induction. I don't know. Maybe you like, oh my God. What is it? Laser beams floating through your mind induction. That's a real cool confusion induction where you look at streams of light through your mind. Or maybe you're more interested in the body relaxation where you're focusing on your body instead of looking at the staircase. The staircase and the elevator and things like that, they are very stock standard deepeners or inductions that people tend to use. The stairwell, the beach, they get really overused, and I feel like sometimes people put a lot of stock into, well, I can't do that, thus I can't be hypnotized. So just keep an open mind. Maybe that's just not for you. Who knows? Maybe it is, but maybe you just need to think about it in a different way. So there's like ways and means to get into that if that helps. Yeah, so any tips for hypnotist and subject for getting into the right mindset? Yeah. Focus is really important when you're starting a scene. I think making sure that you're both in a place where you can't be disturbed, making sure that you've taken the time to kind of romance yourself a bit. There is nothing less sexy than like rushing to a corner in a very busy room to do a hypno session. For some people, if you're really into that like public play and you're in a bar at a munch and somebody's hypnotizing you and maybe that's to you, that's sexy, but for a lot of people, all that shit going on in the background at a bar with the clinking of the glasses and the sounds of the people talking and blah, 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 that's going to be too distracting. So put yourself in a position where it's optimal for hypnosis, right? For you, that could be a quiet room where it's just you two and you just locked away somewhere for 25 minutes. Maybe it's like a Discord call with like the do not disturb sign on so you're not getting pings every 5 minutes. It's why I perma-read on Discord, because like I hate the sound of the bing bing. Oh my god, I hate the Discord notification sound. But imagine you're in trance and the next minute you're hearing that every 5 fucking minutes. That would be disastrous. So just making sure and like even stuff like wearing comfortable clothing, people sometimes miss that stuff, because like I remember if I'm wearing tight jeans and I'm doing a hypnosis audio, the one thing I'm going to be thinking about is, oh my god, that button is digging into my tummy right now. You know, oh my god, why is that button digging into my tummy right now? And it will take me out of the scene. And with my ADHD, I do not need more things to focus on. I need less. So like, yeah, putting yourself into the right space, the right time, making sure that you're not doing it like people say doing hypnosis super early in the morning or super late at night or in the afternoon or whatever. Sometimes timing is very important. Maybe you're not a very good sleeper, so you're going to do it in the evening, so you're already tired, so you're like, oh, cool, but then you might fall asleep. So there's that. Maybe you're like me and you fall asleep really easily at nighttime once someone's hypnotized you. So you decide to do it in the morning so that you won't fall asleep in the middle of the scene, or you'll sit down versus lying down, because maybe if you lie down, you get too relaxed and fall asleep. So you're like, fuck it. I'll sit in a chair this time. Maybe sitting in a chair is uncomfortable. There's a lot of like factors that you could like play with to see what works best for you and for the people you're playing with, you know? And sometimes, sure, you're at a convention, you want to play, you're in a hallway, a crowded hallway, surrounded by other people, and you're doing your little thing, or you're in the dungeon or whatever. I don't know what the rules are now. I think you're not allowed to hypnotize in the hallways anymore, but you found a quiet spot in someone's room and it's kind of busy and loud and stuff, and maybe that's the optimal place to do it, but maybe it's not. Who knows? So it's all about finding that time space situation kind of thing, and it can be complicated sometimes, but you know, as grown-ups, we've got complicated lives full of complicated stuff. But yeah, I hope that helps. So just play around and see what happens. Mm-hmm. Favorite hypnotic line from media? I don't have one. I literally don't have one. So yeah. Maybe they're pushing off a clip called Darren's Secret. Oh my god. Hey, Dan, Gaming Fan, thank you so much for the super chat. Question, which induction is best for beginners? I would say fractionation. On both sides of the pocket watch, I would say fractionation. Fractionation is super important. It's very easy to do. It's very easy to remember. It's got steps and stages, and it's good for everybody, really, I found. Yeah, I noticed a lot of artists like Wanderlust and Adam Hart doing hypnosis, and it's wonderful. Yeah, it's so cool. So cool. From Dommy Mommy to Dommy Grandmommy. Wow, I'm not that fucking old. Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. But yeah, okay, right. Are there any other questions? I'll try and answer a couple more. We've missed Secret. Oh, I've missed you too. Oh my goodness. All right. Are there any other questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna get on to some announcement-y stuff, which is hypnosis related, kind of. So I had a question earlier, if no one else has any serious hypnotic stuff that we need to talk about. about where have you been, Secret, and why are you not making content? So here's the dealio. I have explained this several times, but I'm gonna do it in this form so that it's kind of like we can just go over it and make sure that everybody knows what's going on. Right. So basically, what happened was in April last year. Oh, I don't know how to announce this. I announced this on my other channel, so people already know. So in 2023, I was a corporate VTuber. Basically, I have since revealed the past life corporate VTuber persona I was. I was a hypnotic dommy sun goddess, which is kind of ironic if you see me right now, because sun goddess is the last thing you expect me to be doing. I signed up to a VTuber company that was connected with quite a large company, and I did that. And the reason I did that was because I thought that I was going to start moving away from VTubing as Secret. So the idea was that I would VTube there and I would still do my hypnosis here. But it didn't work out the way I expected it to. Mostly because I got really sick. I had to have a surgery. The surgery actually was a lot more taxing on my voice than I thought it was going to be. Most people don't get vocal damage. They said I did have vocal damage after my surgery, which happened right before my debut as a corporate VTuber. So a lot of things happened. I moved house. I did all this kind of stuff. I then had a death in the family. Things got very, 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 very hard. And when you're doing a lot of ASMR, it's quite taxing on the voice. So recently I've been seeing a lot of people. I've seen an ENT who deals with throat stuff, who said that my voice is actually fine. However, she recommended I don't do a lot of ASMR anymore. So I'm trying to pull back my ASMR a little bit and maybe focus more on the hypnosis stuff, the more soft-spoken stuff. But it's also just been real hard to find the time, the space, the place. Since moving as well, it's been complicated. So there's good news. There's really good news. The good news is I have a new model coming. Which is so exciting. People have already been following my other account, Paranorma. I did a karaoke stream with Paranorma the other day. That's my safe for work, gaming, loud, noisy music account. So if you like music and you like cute, pixelated, low poly girls who scream loudly and are gothic, you can go check that out over there. The reason why I haven't been posting here is just because, it's really hard to find the time and the space that's quiet enough to do the hypnosis stuff. I am a perfectionist and it's very, a lot of the times when I say I'm a perfectionist and I like my audios to be a certain quality, people are like, oh, but just like post it anyway, it'll be fine. But it's not fine. That makes sense. It's not. But the solution to this is, recently I have been contacting a builder, and actually both Norma and myself are going to be splitting a studio. We're building a home studio, which is so exciting. So how we're going to do this is basically we are going to split an audio. It's going to be a music studio and an ASMR hub. And it's going to be cool because it's going to allow me to make videos where I use my models with my voice at the same time, which has been something I've wanted to do for a really long time, especially in the hypnosis realm. I feel like this is an untapped place for me of creativity. It's very exciting. So if you would like to support the building of the studio, you can sign up to my Patreon. I have literally, I think, like 8 years worth of content on the Patreon that you can support. So not only do you get 8 years worth of, I think it's like 500 audios or something over there to download, but you can also support me building a studio. I also had a chat with my wife, and because obviously Norma is going to be splitting the studio with me, we're probably going to look into some sort of maybe crowdfunding to help pay for some of the studio. Because let's be honest, building a studio is not cheap, and it's very stressful. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I'm really excited about that. It's super really, really exciting, and it's something I've wanted for a long time. I love my little office, and I've loved my booth, but both of those solutions are actually not good enough now because of like, it's just so loud. It's so loud in this house. But yeah, so if you want to help me build my secret and Norma musical ASMR studio in my house, you can go support that. And also, can I just shout out to the patrons right now, because without Patreon, I wouldn't be able to do literally any of this. I wouldn't have any models. I wouldn't have any of the assets. I wouldn't have any of this stuff without Patreon. So patrons, I adore you. I'm not even joking when I say that. Thank you so much for affording me to be able to do this. It's so exciting. But because of that, I've also paused the content for a little bit. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to be bringing out more hypnosis content soon. In fact, I recorded the other day, but then the recording got corrupted, and it's a whole thing. So I'm working on it, basically, is where this comes down to. And in the meantime, I'm focusing a lot of my time on Paranorma and the Norma content. And I want to shout out to everyone who's supported the Norma content, who likes the Norma content. Norma and me are not the same. Okay, we're not the same person. I am a lewd dommy mummy. She is not. She screams and makes noises come out of her mouth that I would never want to do in a million years on this channel. So yeah, and there's also content coming out on that channel too. So there's a lot of stuff happening. The reason why I made the split, after all, is because I love hypnosis, and I don't want anyone to ever think that I don't love hypnosis. I do. But after I left my corporate VTubing situation, I found out that like these two things that I love, the ASMR hypnosis and the gaming and the music and the screaming, they can't be on the same channel. You know, I tried to make that work while I was the Sun Goddess VTuber, the corporate Sun Goddess VTuber, but it was just, yeah, exactly. It doesn't fit on the same channel. So that's why I decided to split it out and have two different brands. And I know for some people that's like, but that's really complicated. It's not. It's just I need two different spaces and two different personas to really navigate this world that I'm wanting to work through, you know? Because I don't want to be the dommy mummy all the time. I can't be the dommy mummy all the time. You know, there's other sides to me that I've wanted to show people for years now, with my singing and my music making and my gaming and my loud screaming, that I couldn't do here. So that's why I split that out, and that's why I've been really thoroughly enjoying having the best of both worlds. A little Hannah Montana situation. You know what I mean? You know, we're both purple. Just one of us is a dommy mummy, and the other one is whatever the fuck Norma is. I don't know, some chaotic gremlin, like ADHD and personified, you know? She's just shouting ASMR aspiration. No, I couldn't do that. So yeah, and especially with my medical stuff, and I hate bringing it up because, like, you know, but I think I realized that like ASMR for me was also not forever. So I decided that, like, hey, this also gives me an outlet. So, like, if I can't whisper heaps and heaps and heaps anymore, I've got other stuff going on too. So, yeah, but here's a cool thing. I wanted to update you. And so a lot of people are like, so secret, this new model. Yeah. So I have some really great news. I'm trying to find one that's not naked because I don't want to get bonked. Here we go. Okay. Right. Oh, there we go. We were waiting for the Celia sneeze the whole time. And now we finally have it. And now we can all be satisfied. Right. Here we go. So, do you have a rough idea when the new studio will be built? No, I don't, actually. So, the process of the studio is going to take a while. We have to go to Australia in July. So, it won't be before then. That's all I know. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. We also have to sell my vocal booth that I already have. So we're working on selling the vocal booth and then being able to have the space to build the studio. So not sure when it will be 100% finished, but I will keep people updated on Patreon about that once the building has started. Yeah, because that's gonna be fun, right? Speaking of getting things started, let me see if that actually downloaded properly. Why is this not going? Hold on, let me try and just... There we go. Okay, so I have a new design. Now the reason The reason why I have a new design is because after I came back after my little stint as a corporate VTuber, I basically decided that it was time to retire this model and retire this design. So I'm sorry for all the Nyan Pie lovers out there, but this design has been retired and you're now getting human secret. Human secret. Now, some of you have been on Twitter and you've seen the spread of human secret. You've seen the viral tweet of my stomach and a little bit of areola that went viral on Twitter yesterday. For the tummy lovers out there. Sorry, that's my wife on a clicky-clacky keyboard. Oh, sorry, me on my clicky-clacky keyboard, I guess, because I was doing some typing. But yeah, so anyway, RIP to the Nyan Pie. That's okay. Nyan Pie era, we had it, we did it, we're good. So this is a 3D. That is a 3D model right there. That is a 3D model right there. That is a 3D. That is my 3D model. It looks just like my 2D model. And it is my 3D model. Look at that right there. Right there. Right there. How exciting is that? That's amazing. Look at that cute. Who is that? Adorable person right there. That is me. That's going to be my new face. Does she have hands? Yes, she has hands. She's going to have movable hands and movable limbs. And guess what? There's also a version with no clothes on. So there you go. That's your... Obviously not for YouTube. Obviously not for YouTube. The version with no clothes on is not for YouTube. But there is a version with no clothes on. So there's that. So that's been really exciting. There's been a lot going on. And I think until the new model is ready, I'm not going to be posting a ton of content. So I'm really sorry to everyone. I know it's been like 2 months since my last video. And I just want to say, like, I'm really sorry that I've not been posting more content. I really want to, but I need to also be in a space where I'm like ready to do it again. And I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there. Doing this today has been just like a toe dip into am I ready to come back yet? Nearly. I think also, right, I don't know if this is just me, but after everything that happened in 2023, I think I was really burned out on doing all of that. And I think that I didn't realize how burned out I actually was until like after I came back and I was like making content. I was like, yeah, this is all going really great. And then it was like, wait, no, it's not. YouTube would be mad if you use the no. It would be very mad if I use the no close one. So that one is exclusively for Patreon pictures. I'm going to be posting pictures on Patreon. It's also going to be for Orange YouTube. Is that Pornhub? I'm going to be posting that one to Pornhub. But yeah, so I'm really, really excited. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. That's obviously just not out yet. I've been waiting on a lot of assets is where I'm at. I'm waiting on the rigging for the model, both of the models, and I'm waiting on obviously the 3D to be ready. And once that's all ready, who knows? I might also start doing ASMR streams or just like hypno streams here again, maybe. I don't know. I haven't decided. Pornhub, yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in the works that I'm planning and thinking. And in the meantime, if you want to see me game, I know there's a handful of people on here who actually liked my gaming content. Strange. But for those people, if you like that, you can go check me out on the other channel. Yeah. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed today's class. I really hope you got something out of today's class, for all of you who hung out with me. Also, before I go, I will make a quick announcement. I actually have my first ever sponsored stream coming up soon. So I'm really excited. I can't tell you exactly the details of the sponsored stream, but I can tell you I have a really cool opportunity to do a sponsored stream, which is going to be very, very exciting. Gonna be real excited for that. So in the meantime, go check out the other channel for gaming. Here wise, maybe I'll start doing hypno streams soon, maybe not, we'll find out. I haven't decided yet. And in the meantime, if you want to support building of the studio, you can check out my Patreon. Again, there's a lot of content on Patreon. Hopefully there'll be some new stuff soon. I really, 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 really hope. Because, you know, everything helps when it comes to building a studio, which has been like my dream for such a long time. It's still so surreal that it could actually happen, that we've actually figured out how to make it work. But yeah. Did we get hypnotized? No, sponsored here. Yeah, secret sponsored, not Norma. Norma's not doing spons. Here. It will make sense. When you find out who the sponsor is from, you'll be like, this makes so much fucking sense. And it will. By the way, now you can stream Twitch and YouTube at the same time. I know, but also, Norma stole my Twitch account. Norma stole my Twitch account, so I can't do that. So there we go. If you can't do content, maybe do a monthly stream until you can. Yeah, I did think about that actually the other day. I was like, well, that's why I wanted to do this as soon as I could. So I kind of gave myself a bit of space to like really just like recoup. Especially after Charmed, I needed some time to just recoup and then just be like, okay, now I can do this again. But yeah, like now that I've done this, I want to keep posting a little bit of content here and there. So maybe some hypno streams. Maybe we'll actually do some hypnosis next time. Who knows? But yeah, so I was gonna say, I hope you all had a good time. I had a really good time. And until next time, don't forget to keep it trancy. And I guess I will see you later. All right, everybody. Until next time, goodbye.